Yes, sir.
Yo,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Sunday night Mets Unfiltered, Mets Talk Unfiltered. I know when you guys are seeing me, you're used to blunt thoughts. Well, let me put it out there right now. This is not blunt thoughts, but you know when I'm involved, there's always blunt thoughts. And Eddie's someone who's blunt himself, so it's always blunt thoughts. But for now, we'll call this a different branch of blunt thoughts and extension of blunt thoughts. But this is a creation that we came to together. It's a 50-50 endeavor. It's something that we've been talking about for a while. We tried to get a few people involved. For whatever reason, it couldn't happen, but we felt like we wanted to work together and talk Mets all season. And
yes,
we hope you guys are going to enjoy us. And I'll try not to go too long in my open here, but just wanted to put that out there. We're both streaming this on our own channels. It's going to be known as Mets Talk Unfiltered, hosted by Eddie and Hector and Eddie, however you want to call it. Um, and it's also going to be on my YouTube channel through my blunt thoughts. Maybe eventually we create our own, Mets Unfiltered on X, Mets Unfiltered on YouTube. But for now, this is how we're doing it. But just know this is Mets Talk Unfiltered with Hector and Eddie. Eddie, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, bro, man. I'm so excited about the season. I'm getting ready. Listen, man, Thursday can't come quick enough. You know, I've been watching a little too much Knicks. I have a lot of Knicks PTSD going on. So I'm just ready to. I'm looking forward to this new season, coming off what a season we had last year, and I'm hoping. I'm hoping we go somewhere, Hector. I really am.
No, for sure, for sure, and I think we all do. And obviously, of course, everybody has different levels of confidence. Everybody has different things that they're concerned about right now or not concerned about. You know, when you talk about spring training, to a lot of people, spring training doesn't matter. To some people, spring training matters. And it's funny, right? Because you see reactions from people to certain things, and then you're like, wait a minute, aren't you the same person that told me spring training doesn't matter? But now you're excited about this or you're not excited about this, so things like that are funny to me. But nah, man, just excited. I think we're going to be good, and we're going to get into all of that, right? We're going to get into all of that. But I think right now, when you're talking during spring training and as you look into the season, you're trying to figure out what kind of rosters this team going to have. You're looking at roster configuration and who's going to make it, who's not going to make it. And one of the things, and we're going to run through these real quick, because some of them there's stuff to talk about, some of them there isn't, and we have a lot of things that we want to talk about tonight as we introduce Mets Unfiltered here. Um, but one of the things we've been discussing is the whole rotation and who's going to make the rotation. And we knew that there were guys that were going to be in there for sure, and that is Clay Holmes, who was announced maybe almost 2 weeks ago as an opening day starter. You figure Senga, if healthy, is going to be there. You knew David Peterson was going to be there, and then you were trying to figure out those last two or three spots. You had three guys, and you also know that because the off days, you really only need five guys to start out. So once it became clear that like Griffin Canning was going to make the team, that gave you four guys now: David Peterson, Clay Holmes, Kodai Senga, and Griffin Canning as short spots. Now you had three guys for two spots, or two guys for one spot, I should say.
Right,
And that was Tyler Megil or Paul Blackburn.
right.
Right? That was the question.
You know, Blackburn ended up good. He's in the
Well,
bullpen.
yeah, but that was the question coming in. Now we find out today that Megil has gotten that last spot. Megil is actually going
Check
to get.
the private chat to Hector real quick.
Say again?
Check the
Okay.
private chat.
Megil is actually going to get what do you even call it?
He's the second starter.
The second start of the season, right?
Mhm.
So that's something that, of course, people react to because a lot of people are over Megil. But it's interesting to me. Listen, like we say, spring training, does it matter? Does it not matter? I think it depends. I think it's different for everybody. I think for some guys, spring training does matter. I think if you're trying to make the team, I think if you're coming back from injury, stuff like that, then it's a little bit different. For a veteran like Francisco Lindor, a veteran like Juan Soto, a veteran like Peter Alonso, it doesn't really matter so much. Those guys already have their spot secured. Um, so I think it mattered for these guys. And as we saw Carlos Mendoza say today, Tyler McGill earned the spot.
Of course.
Tyler McGill earned the spot. Yeah, could they have sent him to the minors because he had options? Yeah. But he came out here, he performed. He ended pretty well last season. Give him a
I
shot.
mean, look, with Megil, he's been a guy that's been going back and forth now for years. I look at him and David Peterson very similar, right? They're two guys, they've been bouncing up and down from making the rotation, going back down to the minor leagues, coming back up, then hitting time on the injury list. It's come to the point now, is one of these guys, when are they going to finally put it together? Right? Like, because David Peterson last year, he might have been our best starter down the stretch of the games, down the stretch, and especially into the playoffs. He was really solid. So you hope that the Mets could build off of that and he could become a number 2, number 3 type starter. And with Megil, I'm just hoping he could put it together for 1 year, because he's been a part of a no-hitter, right? I mean, how many Mets no-hitters we have in our history? 2 or 3, whatever we have. He's been a part of it.
The combined no-hitter in Santana, right? I think that's it.
He was the starting. Well, was he the starter that day? Yeah, I think he was.
Was it him? I forget who the hell. There was so many guys.
It was Megil. Either way, he was involved in it, right? So you think that maybe finally one of these years, Megil could put it together. He's got the build. He's got the look for sure. I mean, he's a big, tall guy, strong guy. He's got a bunch of different pitches. The question is, when is he going to put it together? When is he going to just listen? We don't need him to be an ace, Heck. We don't need him to be an ace.
No, absolutely not.
5-6 innings. That's it.
Right. And I think sometimes people get caught up in that. Like, this guy's not ace material. He's not that number 1 caliber or anything like that, or even a number 2, number 3. But who has 5 studs in there? I mean, I guess maybe you could tell me the Dodgers, but who has, that caliber of starter throughout their whole rotation? No, you have guys that are going to go out there, give you innings, that are going to throw you maybe a 6-inning, 2-run game every now and then. But for the most part, are going to be about 5-6 innings, 3 runs, high 3 ERA, low 4 maybe. But that's valuable. And, we'll see what he'll do. Maybe his destiny is eventually to end up in the bullpen, like a lot of people say. But I think right now, at the moment, this is the right move. You put Blackburn there in the bullpen to start out. And listen, again, this is mainly because of the off day too. Because if there wasn't so many off days, they have, I think, 2 off days in the first 4 series, right?
Yeah.
So because of those off days, is that they're able to also only use 5 starters. If not, Blackburn would also be in the rotation. So Blackburn will eventually make a start.
Yeah, he's had a good spring.
Yeah, unless Mania makes it back before, they need a 6 starter or anything like that. Because one thing we know for sure is they're going to go with a 6-man rotation more often than not. I mean, I think they're doing that all year. They have been, very vocal about the fact that they want to give Senga those 5 days of rest and pitch on that 6th day. If you're going to do that with him, you might as well do it with everybody.
It's crazy because he's getting the DeGrom treatment, right? Like, and he's a good pitcher. Don't get me wrong, Heck. But
right.
we're very like and I understand he's fragile. He's coming off big injuries, but they treat him like he's like this bona fide ace, which he's a number 2. I think
is that DeGrom treatment though? Is that treating him as a bona fide ace, or if just that trying to do what's best for him and the team? What's best for the team is for him to pitch and be healthy. What's best for him might be to pitch every 6 days. We might not like it, but that's what he's used to. I don't think if that's, and maybe you're right. Maybe if he wasn't that good, they say, you know what, whatever. You're gonna have to assimilate to what we do here and learn how to pitch every 5 days. But listen, the guy's talented. We need him to be the best version of Kodai Senga. So I don't really have a problem with it, honestly. And it'll probably help all the other guys in our rotation. When you talk about all of our pitchers, what did we talk about? Well, Mashal Manaea threw the most innings. Can he bounce back this year? Well, he's already dealing with an injury.
Yeah, can he do it
Clay
again?
Holmes is transitioning from a reliever to a starter. How many innings is he going to be able to throw, right? So all of this stuff is going to help.
And I was going to ask you, when it comes to Clay Holmes, right? I know a lot of people are touting him, and I see the vision. I get what Stearns saw with him. He added 2 pitches to his arsenal over the spring. One of them's he has this different kind of changeup going. Yeah. But what do we expect out of him? I mean, I know the Mets, they don't have an innings limit on him. They don't have an innings limit whatsoever on him. They're going to just go like week to week with him. And I think that's a smart move because if he pans out, he's going to be worth his weight in gold because, he was a really good relief pitcher. He was a really good pitcher. Now, if he's able to do that, and remember, pitching in the relieving spot and pitching in the starting spot, two different things.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? When you're a reliever, you're only going after somebody one time, right? When you're a starter, you're getting through these guys. Usually you face them about 3 times. That's modern day baseball. 3 times. You don't see, unless, the guy's pitching a gem, you don't see guys going through 4 times in the order. You really rarely see that nowadays.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see is can Clay Holmes have success as a starting pitcher? I'm curious. I hope he does.
Yeah, obviously we all are, and he's looked pretty darn good. It's just gonna be about how they manage it. And again, like you said, it's a little different. They're not gonna have an innings limit now, but we live in different times now, Eddie. You see it sometimes now when they're running around in spring training. These guys have all these gadgets on and all this stuff that measures their body. So that's what they go mostly on now is, what those measurements tell them, as opposed to you threw this many pitches, you threw these many innings or whatever. Well, that they do focus on. They don't even call it innings; they call them ups. You threw these many ups. That they do still to focus on, but for the most part, it's based on their readings on what they get from how they measure these guys from the moment they come into spring training throughout spring training, so they know where they are at 100%, and they know where they are. That's why it drives people crazy, and it's funny because Brandon Nimmo is constantly talking about, I did 85% today. I did 80% today. I did 90% today. But he's referencing these numbers that they're getting from these readings. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's just
what
arbitrary.
Exactly do they even mean by this shit, though?
Listen, it beats the hell out of me, Eddie.
All right, because it was David Stearns. He said something. Okay, yeah. They're talking about when it comes to Clay Holmes, like having a mental endurance. And they're talking about, navigating the batting order and all this shit. They're not going to put it. Here's the quote. They're not going to put an innings limit on him, Hector, right? Instead, they're going to focus on biometric markers to gauge his weekly strength and injury risk. What the fuck does that mean?
That's exactly what I was describing, just in in official terms or whatever. In my dumbed out way is just, they got all these measurements, they got all these machines that they put on guys, and whatever the hell that tells them, that's where they're gonna go by now.
Biometric markers to gauge his weekly strength and injury risk. What? I mean, I get it. We don't want injuries.
Yeah.
But can we make it make sense a little bit?
Whatever works, Eddie. Whatever works. I wish I could make it make sense, except for the only thing I could do is exactly what I just said. And the other thing you said, though, that stood out to me is the mental approach, right? And that's important too, because like you said, he's used to and he's talked about it, just having to go through 3 batters, maybe 2 innings, right? If he did that. So you go through 6 batters. Now is being able to go back and think and adjust throughout the game, not just in between starts, but within the game, to know what you've seen, to know what you did to a batter and how you're going to approach him the next at bat, or even starting out with a certain way because you want to finish him off later on in a different way. All of that stuff. How is he going to be able to handle that? How's he going to be able to handle giving up a couple of wrong runs early, maybe on? Can he bounce back and still do like we saw DeGrom do, or and I don't want to reference DeGrom when I'm talking about guys like this, but because you brought his name up before, but but guys that maybe look a little shaky early, but are able to pitch through that. Is he going to be able to do all those things? We're going to have to find out. This is all new to him. I know he started, early on in his career, but it's been a long time now. So we'll see.
Let me ask you, what's your expectations with him? I'll give you mine, but I want to know yours. Do you think this guy could be a fucking ace? What is your expectations from Clay Holmes?
I try not to put expectations per se on guys. So far I like what I've seen, both on the field, both him, the way he speaks and everything. So I feel confident that he can have a good year. Can he give us 13 to 15 wins or so? I think that would be pretty damn good. That's a big step for him. Maybe that's not ace material,
No,
but if you can do that,
I don't think. I mean, 13 to 15 wins. I mean, how many guys even get that many wins anymore? It's like that. Like it's very, very rare. Like
okay.
with the bullpen setup, like I don't
Right,
think.
and I know I'm showing my age here, right, and how I think about the game when I even bring up wins, when people don't care about wins, right? So maybe I should be talking about FIPS and expected
No. I
this
don't
and
mean it like
expected
that.
that, but I don't get into that. But I feel good about what I've seen so far. Now we'll see. Is he going to be an ace? I'll tell you who I expect to be an ace in this rotation, who I expect to take that next step, and you're probably gonna be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But I'm looking for that from David Peterson.
Well,
That's what I'm looking at to get that from. Yes, of course, Kodai Senga healthy comes back and he could be what he was in 2023. You could call him the ace, but some people don't like him as an ace. Some people were telling us last year that he wasn't the ace going into the season, and it didn't matter because he didn't pitch anyways. You want to
right.
tell me that now because of contract and what he did last season for us, Sean Manaea is the ace? Okay, that's fine too. But we also saw that last year we had a different ace a month. They
Right.
they basically took turns. But the guy that I'm looking at to step up the most and take that step and maybe carry this rotation, whether you want to call him an ace or not, and I'm not saying you, I say that you to everybody,
Right.
is David Peterson. I've said it many a times. David Peterson is my X factor when it comes to the rotation.
See, I think you make a good point, and I'm actually with you on it. When I look at this rotation, besides Kodai Senga, to me, the guy with the biggest upside, the highest ceiling, is David Peterson. He's
Right.
a lefty. He did it in the clutch last year. He did it down the stretch. That's enough for me. Now, can he build off of that? Can this guy give you like now? We don't get 200 innings anymore, Hector. We don't get
No,
180. Those days are over.
no.
So my ex, can you give me 130 innings? Can he pitch? Can he give me an ERA under 3.5? I'm not asking him to be, Cy Young levels. Can he give me a 3.5 ERA? Give me 130 innings. Get at least a strikeout and a half an inning, and I'm good. I'm good. Just be that guy that takes a step up. Because Hector, if we're gonna compete this year, you're gonna need David Peterson and these other guys to step up because we're in the hardest league in baseball. The NL East is the most competitive league in baseball. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's the hardest league. Is the NL
Absolutely.
East. So if we're
Absolutely.
going to compete with these three teams, these two other teams in our division, which are right there with us, we need Peterson to take that step. We need it.
No, absolutely. Real quick, Eddie, just want to acknowledge the people, man. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in so far. Thank you for everybody that's in the comments. You guys know how I do it. We try to bring in the comments. The ones that I see hello on my shows, at least, I bring them up just to say that's my way of acknowledging you guys and saying hello. I was talking to Eddie beforehand. As far as the comments, listen, when I do my shows, I always say this is our show. It's not just my show, and this is our show. It's us, it's Eddie and I, but this is your show just as much.
Exactly.
And we want to hear from you guys. Now, the only thing that at least for me, I think it's easier if we try to stay on topic with the comments, guys. So if you guys can stay with us with your comments, and I know there's things that you guys want to discuss. If you wait towards the end, we'll try to get to any questions, something that maybe we didn't touch on, maybe something that you have a question on that we didn't answer along the way. No problem with that. But while the show is going on, I'd say let's just try and keep it
Shout out to my guy Trippy, by the way, one of
to
my guys
to
in
to to the
Knicks
topic at hand.
community crossing over.
To the
Shout out
topic
to
at hand.
all my Knicks people. Shout out to all of them, man.
Now, for sure, for you, shout out to all the Knicks fans, but we're not doing Knicks tonight. All you Knicks people that are here for Eddie, stick around. Whether it be for Eddie, whether it be for me, but we're going to bring you Mets content on this show because that's what it's about. That's the season we're heading into. Now, naturally, we're both big Knicks fans, right? Now, it kind of makes me sick to look behind Eddie and see, Jordan and Kobe Bryant and all this other stuff. But it is what it is. But he has JB up there. He has JB up there. But I say that to say that naturally, sometimes the Knicks may leak into the conversation, but this is all about Mets. This is Mets Unfiltered with your boy Heck and Eddie Presti, baby.
Yeah.
Not Hector and Eddie Presti has a couple, but Hector Moquette and Eddie Presti. There you go. back to this. But yeah, so I think David Peterson is huge. But the most important thing is health, man. The most important thing is health. Hopefully, it seems like Mania is on his way back. That should be a good thing. Um, who the hell knows what's gonna happen with Frankie Montas? Hopefully, the guys that are here now will be able to stay healthy and give us their best. We'll see how that goes. Now, as far as the bullpen,
Hold
we
on,
talk
I
about
want to ask you
yes,
about one more guy, Heck.
sure.
And this is who the fuck was it? All right. The guy they sent, the kid they signed from the Angels.
The kid
He's in the starting rotation. Hold on, let me get
Canning,
it.
Griffin Canning, yes.
Canning.
Good to
Now,
have you, so good to have you, man.
yeah, what up, Sal? So shout out to everybody out there. I'm sorry if I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to do like 3 different things at once. All right. But talking about Canning, right? And I want to get your take on him. This is a guy like, bro, he had like the worst stats in baseball last year. I think I got it in here. Statistically, here's the line. Statistically, last season, Canning was one of the least successful pitchers in the major leagues. Okay. And the Mets gave him a $4.2 million contract, which is good. I mean, it's peanuts for a starting pitcher, right? And the hope is that they could refine his his arsenal, his sequencing, and pitch shape. So they're really like knee deep in this pitching lab, when it comes to Canning. He's got a new pitch. He added a cutter. Again, another guy. I'm not expecting him to be an ace. I don't even expect this guy to be a number 3, number 4. Bro, I'm expecting, give me 130 innings. Give me 130 innings and give me a below 4 ERA, and I'm happy. I mean, but the Mets seem to have some sort of confidence in this guy. What's your take with him?
No, listen, Eddie, it's spring training, right? So we're trying not to overreact. We're trying not to overreact to spring training. But, bro, I like what I've seen. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched much of the games. I maybe watched 10 innings combined. And I'm adding 3 innings from when I last spoke about this just for the hell of it. Because I don't think I've watched 3 innings since I last said I had watched maybe 7 innings. And that was possibly an exaggeration. But what I have watched,
I can't get any of the games. I can't
right,
stream them.
right.
They don't like, I listen to them sometimes, but I never get to watch them, only the highlights.
Right. The couple that I have watched already, ironically, Griffin Canning has pitched.
Yeah.
Well, at least
so perfect segue. What's your take on this guy?
My take is that I like what I see. But I'm trying to temper my like because it's spring training, right? And I don't want to overreact to what I'm seeing in spring training. But what I'm thinking is, hey, we as a fan base have been killing Jeremy Hefner. Well, maybe we need to slow down and give Jeremy Hefner his props, right? Now, I would always say, and we talked about this guy, is like, oh, Jeremy Hefner is so damn good. Then show me something with a Tyler McGill. You're not showing me nothing with these good pitchers that already are good. Show me something. Make Tyler McGill something. Bring me something from the minors so that I can say, okay, we have something going on. Well, we're starting to see that now. And obviously, and they've said this. When they talk about the pitching lab, they're talking about the whole infrastructure of a pitching lab. We think pitching lab, right? And we think it's a room. We think a laboratory. They're going to hook these guys up. And yes.
Right. You think it's some crazy lab shit with
right. And that does exist, though, Eddie, right? Because that does exist. There is this room with all these cameras. But when they refer to a lab, they talk about everything. Their pitching coaches, Jeremy Hefner, the development, all of that is part of their pitching lab. The analytics that they use, the data that they use, all of it, right? So, bro, I have no choice right now, but not only to give Jeremy Hefner his flowers, but to have confidence in what he's doing and have confidence in what David Stearns is doing, right? When people talk about listen, when we were talking about hiring David Stearns, one of the things that people talked about was, one of his traits is that he's able to build a pitching staff with nothing.
Right.
Now that he's doing it,
especially
bullpen, and now that he's doing it with us, is who does he think he is? Do you think he's gonna do it again? He thinks he could do it again. Well, he's been doing it forever, right? So it's not so much that he only did it last year with us. He did it before. That's what is on his resume. Doesn't mean that I love it. Yeah, eventually I want to go get the short thing. But if he's good at this, then let's do it. Listen, I've always talked about wanting to be one of the best organizations out there.
Of
and
course.
being able to do all things well. That's part of it. So your question is about Griffin Canning. I like what I see, Eddie, but I like what I see in a lot of things right now. But I'm
Right.
trying to temper it because recognizing that it's spring training, recognizing, like you said, that this guy had one of the worst numbers,
The
was one of
worst.
the
The
worst
worst.
pitches. Yeah. So I recognize all that. But so far, I like what I see. I have good hopes for him to be a good back end starter. Just be
Right.
a good back end starter. Give me 5, 6 innings on the most part, or give
They're
me
never
five
giving
innings.
you no 6 innings, Hector.
No,
Those
no, no.
they
Give me 5 innings. All right, give me five
right.
innings. Give me 5 innings, maybe 4 in the third, 4 and 2/3. But I like you got to give me an official game. I'm still old school. Like, give me an official
I
game.
listen, I'm with you, but the game, it's not like that no more, bro.
Yeah, I understand, and that's
It's
why we
not.
got these multiple
That's why like, you
inning
see
releases.
13 wins. I'm thinking to myself, bro, like the Cy Young winner doesn't even get 13 wins no more, right? Like it's fucking
Yeah,
nuts.
no, 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 no. You're right. You're right. But okay, so give me if he could give me 5 innings, maybe if it gets to 4, but a very low 4 ERA, not like a 4.89. But
Yeah,
I
man.
I don't even want to see 4. Give me a 3.9 something
That's what I'm at. That's
for
what I'm at.
5 innings. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be happy with that.
Because if
I
you
think
put like if this is all true, he's got a new pitch, he's changing his mechanics and all that. And let's say this comes together. Bro, asking for a 3.8 ERA, asking him to give you 5 innings, that's not that bad. Like, that's not like asking the world. I think that's doable, Hector. I think it's doable.
no, I
And
agree.
and look, again, if we want to take this division, we're gonna need guys like Griffin Canning to outperform expectations. They're gonna have to outperform them.
Now this is not gonna happen, guys. We're
Wow.
gonna leave the Blazers to
No,
Eddie,
no, no, no. That's my
and
that's my
yeah, that's Eddie's thing. And I'm gonna do my T-shirt thing or whatever the hell
yeah,
else
man.
I decide to wear that day.
I don't wear jerseys, all right? I wear my blazer. I got my pin, and I lost one of my favorite Mets pins, and I'm fucking really pissed off about it because
Oh
it's
man,
really hard to get big pins, Hector.
right.
Believe it or not.
That actually stand out, right?
Yeah, yeah, because most of them are super small. Try to
Now,
show you.
as we wrap up this rotation conversation, right? Like I said before, I kind of hinted at, right? McGill and Carlos says here, McGill starting game 2 means nothing. He
He's
will be
right.
gone when Mania comes back.
Oh,
And you're right. But you know what it does mean, Carlos, which is going to piss some people off? Mania starting game 2 probably means he's going to start the home opener. So for everybody going to the Mets home opener at Citi Field, get ready to see Tyler McGill again.
he's definitely going to be the. He's going to be the home
Yeah,
opener.
listen, if you count the days, unless they decide to stick Blackburn in there, which they're not gonna do, right? Then McGill is going to be the guy that's his day, and he's actually gonna get an even extra day of rest because of the day
Right.
off. Right now, Clay Holmes starts the opener and starts the last game against the Marlins. Do they flip that around? I don't think they're gonna do that if they're gonna stick to the 6 man thing. Another guy that would benefit going every 6 days is probably Clay Holmes, and with him making the adjustment from reliever to starter now. So yeah, it's probably gonna be Tyler McGill, but this may be the case, Carlos. You may be right. This may be the case.
Carlos
But
does
listen,
not like McGill.
no,
He
Carlos is
no.
not like McGill at all. Carlos is not like McGill at all. But it might be. Listen, what we just talking about Griffin Canning and what he has been. What if he is what he is? Maybe he's the guy that odd man out. Maybe McGill finally figures it out. Who the hell knows? Who the hell
Yeah,
knows?
man, look, they're signing all these guys for a reason. They're babying them for a reason. This is for the first time. Like, and I give Stearns a lot of credit for this. He's planning this shit out. Like, he's planning that there's injuries that are going to come through because every year it happens, right? But he's being prepared, and that's a good thing to see compared to the days when we had Brody Van Wagen and coming in here and we'd have 5 starters. One guy go down, and the next guy up would be this awful guy from AAA who would come up here and just get lit up. So it is good. It is good.
Nope, for sure. Now we move on a little bit to wrap up this pitching thing to the bullpen, and what we found out today, somebody that we like and we were hoping and rooting for, but that I thought probably wasn't going to make it, and it would probably be the right move, is it Dedniel Nunez. And we find out today that he will start his year down in AAA. And I think this is the right thing. Now, I'm thinking it's down in AAA. I don't know if it's like extended spring training or if it's
Yeah.
an IL thing or anything like that. He was scheduled to pitch tomorrow. I'll be interested to see if he still pitches tomorrow. It's possible that he does. Because if he doesn't, why not?
Well,
You
no,
know,
no.
because he's not ready. Excuse me. Is he
Yeah.
not bouncing back? Or are we just being cautious, which I have no problem with being cautious?
From what I read with him, he started late. He started pitching mid
Yeah.
March. His
Yeah.
arm's not like his arm's not there. He's not ready to go and pitch 2 out of 3 days. So it's exactly what you said when it comes to Nunez. They're stretching him out and they're getting him ready to go into the bullpen because they
Right.
said if they were to bring him up, it wouldn't have been fair to the other guys in the bullpen because they would have had to take on bigger workloads because he's not ready yet. He's not there. He's not ready yet.
Right.
And,
No,
and I like Nunez. I like
I love Nunez. I love
Yeah.
Nunez, but I keep saying this. We need these guys down the stretch, Eddie. I get it. I get it, right? You're waiting around all year as a player, as a fan, everything. And it's a big deal. Whether you're a rookie and it's your first one, whether you're just when you're a Brandon Nimmo or Starling Marte, you want to make it to opening day healthy. And I felt like all these guys are rushing to get to opening day. And I'm like, let's take it easy here. Let's calm down. I understand the importance of opening day and wanting to be there, but it's more important to be there at the end of the season. So I'd rather have guys healthy in August, September, October,
Yeah.
and November than in March, April, May, and June. Not saying that those games don't matter because they matter. But we are a deep enough team, whether we like the names or not. We are a deep enough team that we should be able to withstand a guy like Dedniel Nunez not making it on opening day. Now the other guys, and I don't have a nice banner for it right now, is AJ Minter. I
love
don't know if anything's been said today, but they're waiting to the last minute with him. We saw him talking about how they were waiting to the last minute. Possibly, I think the rosters have to be in by Wednesday at noon, I believe. It's usually the day before at noon, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe even the same day, I forget. But the point is, they're gonna wait until the last minute with AJ Minter giving him a chance. But AJ Minter himself said, "We're going to be smart." Well, you know what? Do the same thing, man. Even if it's an extra week, 2 weeks, take your time. Come back when you're fully ready, because that's when I think is more important. That's how I feel about that. And then the bullpen is let me see if I can find it here. The rest of the bullpen, I mean, obviously you have Edwin Diaz, um, you have a Reed Garrett, you have a Danny Young. How do you feel about Danny Young making the
Well,
opening
I
day
mean, we
roster?
needed a second lefty, right?
Right now, he might be the only lefty.
Right. Well, what's up with Minter, right? Like, I mean, he's, you
Well, like I
know,
just said, they're gonna wait till the last minute with him.
right.
They're trying to give him every opportunity possible to make it. But if you have to wait till the last minute, Eddie, then don't put him on the roster. Is what I
Yeah,
say.
exactly. Right now, again, like I said, you need a lefty. At some point, I believe that you should carry 2 lefties in the bullpen. That's just
Right.
the way I think. Again, I was really excited about the Minter signing. I have high hopes for him. I think he could be a big time eighth inning guy. I think he could get big outs. I loved what he did with the Braves. He was always getting us out in big situations.
No, of course.
So with Danny Young, to be honest, I'm not too high on him. I'm not. I never really thought. I know he had some success, but for the most part, to me, he's pretty mediocre. But you need a lefty, and until AJ Minter's fully on the mend, I guess we're gonna have to deal with Danny Young. I'm not
Right.
that high on Danny Young, to be honest with you.
I guess I'm a little bit higher than you on him. I like him. I like you said, he had some success last year. At the end, maybe he tied out a little bit. Maybe it all caught up to him like it did to many of these guys. But I like him, and I was kind of rooting for him to make the team, even as a second lefty behind AJ Minter. But like you said, now with AJ Minter, if he doesn't make the team, obviously he's the best option to make it. He performed better than Genesis Cabrera, and I forget what other lefty we had in there. And also, I think Danny Young has no options. So, we know that also takes a play into things. Um,
Yo, the bullpen should be good, heck. Honestly.
yeah.
We
So
should be all right with that.
and again, you have Nunez, you have Reed Garrett, you have Jose Buto, who sometimes is
He
like,
tired out at the end of last season.
yeah, sometimes that guy makes me nervous. But let's go Jose Buto. I like Jose Buto.
Actually,
So
he was another guy too. I was surprised that they didn't think about him in the rotation, but
no. They've said it all along. He's a multiple inning guy, just like the other guy that now
but
we
he
have.
can't go back-to-back days.
Well, that may change now, but when you talk about multiple innings, you don't need guys to go back to back days. That's not his job. The back to back days guys are going to be the Edwin Diaz's, the AJ Minters, the guys that pitch towards the end. The maybe even a Dedniel Nunez, if he's able to make it back, is more of a back to back days guys because those are the guys you're going to use for two or
Yeah,
three
one
batters,
inning.
1 inning. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. But
Jose
don't you
Buto.
remember what Budo though? Heck, you get 2 innings out of him, and then they shut him down for 3 days, like almost.
Well,
I felt like
yes, Eddie, because last year, see, people sometimes don't listen though. Not saying you, but let's not forget last year when they first bring him up, the whole idea was we don't know if we're gonna keep using him as a reliever or as a starter. So they wanted to keep him stretched out. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't want to pitch him back to back days. That was
right. No,
not
and
designed.
I know. Listen, Hector, they're so careful with all these guys now. I get it.
Well, you
But again,
have to be, Eddie. You
yeah,
have to
yeah,
be. You
because
can't listen. We're worried about during the off season, Acclaim Holmes transitioning from a reliever to a starter. You're asking a guy to do this in the season. That's even more complicated. So
it
I
is.
think first off, they wanted to keep him stretched out. Then it became to a point in the season when it doesn't make sense right now to stretch him out. We don't have the time.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So they couldn't really do it. And now they came into this offseason and in spring training and told us
Right.
his role is a multiple inning guy.
And
Another guy that I think that should be a multiple inning guy that's in the
Blackburn.
bullpen. Well, we know he's going to be.
Right.
But I think Reed Garrett is another guy that I really don't see as a late inning reliever. Now,
I don't either.
maybe he's learned some, but I think he's good as that 6th, 7th inning guy, like another bridge guy. And when guys are tired, you ask him maybe one day to step into the 7th, 8th inning, but not as a regular up there. Now,
I don't think
he may have
he's
learned from last year, though.
I don't think he's talented enough to be an 8. Like, if I'm mapping out the bullpen, I look at him, Reed Garrett. He's good, but he's not to me like a fucking setup man. I don't look at him as like a prime setup man at all.
But he served that role for us last year a lot, right? But that was a lot of out of necessity,
right?
And also because he
But
performed.
I'd rather him not be there. How about that?
Yeah,
that
exactly. I'd rather him not be there, but we need the other guys to be healthy.
Right.
And then the other guys right now who are in the balance, competing for what is the last spot, is Max Kranick and Wasker Brazelban. And I think on merit and what we've seen with spring training, that doesn't matter. I think most people are gonna want Max Kranick to make the team, and I would say that I agree with that. And I'm not, and I apologize to everybody, and I apologize to you, Eddie, because I haven't looked this up, and I did before, but I don't remember off the top of my head as far as which one of these two guys has options or doesn't have options. But I would think it's looking like to me like Max Tranick is going to be the guy to make the bullpen and Brazelban to find himself down there in the minors. But that's it as far as the bullpen. Now, the other question with the bullpen that I know a lot of fans have, and you may have yourself, Eddie, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's the whole decrease in velocity for Edwin Diaz, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what does that mean? And is this concerning or is it not concerning? Give us your thoughts on that. I'll let you take the lead with this.
All right. What was the number of pitches in 2022 that Edwin Diaz had over 100 miles per hour? Do you remember the number I sent you?
You sent it to me. It was pretty darn high.
I think it was triple digits.
Yes, it was triple. I think it was like 105 or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So just for the chat and for the audience, in 2022, Edwin Diaz threw over, I think it was either 115 or 105 pitches over 100 miles per hour. He is not. Last year, he hit over 100 miles per hour only 15 times. This is a guy that we gave 5 years and $100 million to. He's one of the highest paid relievers in all of baseball. Now I get it. He got hurt in the WBC, and that fucking sucks. And it's bad. But to be honest, Hector, I am concerned about Diaz. If he's not throwing triple digits, I'm worried about him because we're paying the big bucks. We need him to be a closer because we paid him to be the best in the business. And we expect the best in the business. But when he's hitting 97 miles an hour, and I know it's spring training, but we had last year only had 15 pitches over 100 miles an hour. This was a dude hitting 103, Hector, hitting 104 sometimes on the radar gun. So I am concerned about Edwin Diaz. I am concerned. I hope he gets back up there. I want to see more than 15 pitches thrown over 100 miles an hour. I'm sorry, I do. And I know that's not his out pitch. You're going to say, Eddie, well, his slider's his out pitch. And you guys are right. But when you're throwing gas over 100 miles an hour, and then you set up that slider, that's the way you get hitters out. That's being an elite team. So I want to see Edwin Diaz hit that 100 miles an hour mark. I want to see him hit it at least, okay, I'm not going to say 100 times. How about 60 times this year? He throws 60 pitches over 100 miles an hour when he's got to dig deep and throw that fastball by someone. So, yeah, I expect that. I expect it out of him.
No, listen, and
that to the audience. Go ahead.
no, that's fair, man. That's fair. I am one that I don't necessarily really get too worried about velocity and stuff like that because my thing is like, show me you can get guys out. But when velocity is a big part of your arsenal and what you do, then yeah, it becomes a little bit concerning. And that happens to be the case with Edwin Diaz, even if we can say that his out pitch is that slider. But for me personally, what I worry more about Edwin Diaz is not so much Edwin Diaz, but is the absence of a Francisco Alvarez. Because I feel like, I think we've seen that Alvarez has done a great job handling Edwin Diaz and sometimes snapping him out of it when Edwin is in one of those funks. You know what I mean? When he's lost his confidence, he looks like a deer in the headlights and all that stuff. So I worry about that. I feel he should be healthy, Eddie. I feel like the knee injury should.
But Hector, let's keep it real. This fucking guy threw 15 pitches over 100 miles an hour. This is a guy that threw over 100 when he was fully healthy, and we paid him. We paid him like I wouldn't care so much if we weren't paying him this much money, but I care because sometimes Hector, he doesn't have control of that slider. Let's be real. He doesn't always have control of it.
I get it. For me, I don't care whether we paid him or not. I care that he's our closer and we have expectations on him and we need him to perform to that level. Yeah, the paying him is a byproduct of it, but I need you to perform to Edwin Diaz. But what I'm saying is last year I could understand and, maybe, even though he was healthy, still getting over the mental aspect of being healthy. You know what I'm saying?
You think the knee has something to do with it?
I think we can't dismiss it. I think he was healthy as far as the knee, but I think you can't dismiss the mental aspect of it, right? And we know that is the case with all injuries, right? Now, I'm not a professional athlete by any means. Some of you can say I'm not an athlete at all, right? But I had the same exact.
You're a legend, Hector. Come on.
I've had the same exact Edwin Diaz injury on each of my knees.
Okay.
So I know what it is to rehab from that injury. I know what it is to come back and continue to try to play at my scrub level from that injury. And I know what it was to come over it mentally too, and how long it took me. And yes, even though I was healthy and playing at first, there were still certain things that I wondered if I could do, that I still thought about before, during, and after games. Now, I don't think about that stuff anymore, but it took a while. So I could understand him last year maybe still. Listen, we saw when they won. What did we see especially when they beat the Phillies? We saw when Milwaukee or whatever the hell it was, and Alvarez jumped in his arm that he didn't jump. When they beat the Phillies, we see him telling the guys like, "Hey," as they're running to him, like, "Calm down.
Yeah. Chill.
We're not jumping. We're gonna congratulate me. We're gonna stay on the ground, right?" I think this year he'll jump.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I think
man,
this season. So Does that have anything to do with
I think he's
velocity?
the highest paid relief pitcher in baseball, man. I may be wrong. It might be Hader.
If he's not, he's right up
He's
there.
right there.
Right.
But
Listen, Eddie, he needs to perform whether he's getting paid or not. He's a big
100%.
part of the New York Mets.
I
Who's
need
going to
him,
replace him?
bro. Hector, I need him to hit triple digits. I'm sorry, because sometimes that fucking slider ain't there, and when it's not there, it's a problem. You remember him in 2022 when we first, 2021? He was terrible.
No, listen, I went on a big rant last year when I said we've gotten mostly bad Edwin Diaz. We love the guy. I got selfies with him and everything. He's a good guy.
2022 was one of the most special year I ever saw.
It was great. And like I said, I went on a rant last year and I talked about just like you. We paid this guy. What the hell did we pay him for? 1 year. Most of it has been bad. One, he was not there. Not his fault. He got hurt. But yes, I get it, bro. He needs to perform. We don't have anybody to replace him with.
No, not even close.
So
who is it? Minter? Minter would probably be the closer, right? It would probably be Minter. I think.
Yeah, Minter, Nunez, if he's healthy like he was last year at the end, maybe they'll throw Buto. At that point, you're gonna go.
Buto, I don't trust Buto.
No, yeah, but at that point, you're gonna go by committee, honestly. And maybe you do throw Minter in there, but has he really been a closer or a setup guy? I'm not.
I'm pretty sure. I think Minter closed some games for the Braves the year they won. The year they won the World Series. I'm pretty sure. I think I remember him closing it out. Mike in the chat says Edwin Diaz is number one at $20.4 million. So, do you see what I'm saying with this?
Yeah, no. There you go. No, listen, it's valid, Eddie. I'm just saying I don't pay as much attention to the money because to me it's like, yo, who are you as a player? That's what I look at. The old back of the baseball card thing. I get it, Eddie. I'm not fucking paying him. I don't care. I do care because I am paying him.
But you are.
It doesn't matter. If he was getting $3 million, he's still the closer. He still needs to perform.
100%.
That's how I look at the money thing. Like
I'm just fuck the money. I'm concerned that he ain't throwing that shit anymore. He's hitting 97.
Yeah,
come on.
I get it.
I'm having PTSD with Matt Harvey when he lost his fucking velocity. He was done. Fucking punching. Same with Syndergaard. They were finished.
No. My bad. I was looking at the price.
Everybody's saying that. Listen, Hector dresses the way he dresses. I dress the way I dress. That is what it is. There's no negotiation here. All right. I'm in a fucking Mets jersey. There's no negotiation here.
There you go, guys. Eddie doesn't want me wearing a damn blazer. Damn it.
Oh. That's how the fuck you want you. You want to come in a fucking white beater? You do whatever the fuck you want, man. This is Mets Talk Unfiltered. This is what it is, bro.
There you go, baby. Come on. So let's leave the bullpen and rotation alone for now. Hopefully, Edwin Diaz throws over 100 miles an hour, so Eddie and I don't kill each other here. What I need is to fucking close them games. That's what I need. That's the bottom line. But when we continue the roster configuration, before we get into some real fun, man, we're gonna be here all night, but we're gonna have some fun. But as we try to wrap up the roster configuration, we move on, and depending on how you look at it, there's either 2 spots or 1 spot left, right? Let's say there's 1 spot left right now for the argument's sake. And one person that comes up, or one person that people are worried about, is Alexander Canadio, right? And is he gonna make the team? And I laughed, Eddie, today when I saw on the timeline. Well, no, 2 home runs. The guy's, a highly talented prospect. You guys know how I feel about prospects, right? I'll let you guys think about that.
How do you feel? Because I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, you don't
know? Are you
know?
like a prospect hugger? Are you one of those guys?
Oh, hold on. I hope I didn't take it out of here because I have it here for you. Oh, Hector, see, you try to be smooth and you're not smooth. That's how I feel about prospects, Eddie.
I'm with you.
Prospects become suspects. Now, credit to Omar Minaya, former Mets GM, who said this line, and I've been using it ever since. And people think it's my line. It's not my line. This is Omar Minaya's line. But prospects become suspects. I could give 2 damn about prospects until I see them, until they get close. And if I like them, not that I hug them, but then I want to give them a chance, right? I want to give them a chance. So when it comes to Alexander Canadio, whom we're talking about here, just because I was laughing at the at the comments today where I see people talking about, oh my gosh, Canadio, what are we gonna do? The Mets either have to, put him on the roster or they're gonna have to DFA him, and for sure somebody's gonna pick him up, especially after hitting those 2 home runs today. So does it if the Mets keep him, or should they keep him and trade Starling Marte and this and this and that? And I'm like, are we serious here? Are we serious here? Let me tell you what I think about Alexander Canario. I think the Mets traded for Alexander Canario because at that time they were legit worried about both Brandon Nimmo and Starling Marte being able to make the team by opening day.
Right.
Is Canario?
Does he have options, Hector?
He has. That's the thing. He has no options.
Right.
So he's either on the major league roster or they have to designate him for assignment, which somebody will probably pick him up. You understand what I'm saying? Now, maybe they try to trade him for somebody. They could trade him. They could trade him.
If other teams know you're gonna fucking cut somebody, they're not. Stupid,
but you still see those trades, though, Eddie.
No doubt.
We think that, but because some other teams don't want to take a chance to have to pick him up through waivers, and maybe you don't get that waiver, right? I forget how it works. If there's a line you have to go through or whatever, but if you could trade for him, you don't have to. And, maybe you trade something that you don't really think you're going to keep around. But my whole thing is, like, are we really going to talk about we got to trade? Well, how you feel about Starling Marte and being part of this team?
I like Starling Marte. All right. Look, I every time I want to talk shit about the guy, he proves me wrong. Right? I swear to you, every single time. When he first got here, people called him old. When he first got here, he was a key part of that 2022 team. I think you might want to say he might have been the most important member of that 2022 team. Okay? Right. Because he hit all year. Even down the stretch, he was the guy hitting. He was a staple of that fucking team. 2023, I throw it out the window. It's a lost season. It is what it is. Last year, he got hurt. And I thought, you know what? This guy's probably done. But then we go on that run. And you look at Starling Marte, and he's a big part of it. He's not the power threat he once was. He can't hit you 20 home runs anymore. He's probably a 10 home run type of guy. And I'm a big lover of the home run, if you don't know. But Starling Marte hits doubles. He gets on base, and he can steal bases. So to me, he's a very important part of this team. Despite, I know he's going to be platooning. We're not going to see as much as him. But when he plays, he performs. And that's what I care about. So I'm going to go with the proven guy in Starling Marte over Canario any day of the week. Because he's done it, and he's done it here. And not a lot of guys you could say that about. Canario's doing this in spring training, bro. Spring training means fucking shit. You get 40, 50 at-bats in spring training. I don't give a fuck if he hit 5 home runs today. I don't care. I trust Marte, the proven guy, over Canario. Now, would I like to see Canario here? Sure, because he's lighting it the fuck up. But push comes to shove, I'm picking Marte. That's it. Because every time I pick against him, he proves me wrong, Hector.
Right.
Proves me wrong.
No, listen. Well, before I get into that, let me first. I apologize, Eddie. Shout out to my guy Quays, man. All you guys.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, bro. I'm reading you. I just
shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. But the fans of Blunt Thoughts, guys that watch Blunt Thoughts, they know my guy Quays. He's always in the comments. Recently, he's been helping me behind the scenes. Shout out to my guy Quays. He's going through it right now. He's had some, something go on with his family. He's lost a couple of family members. I apologize, Quays. You don't want me to put that out there, but just keep my guy in your thoughts and prayers as he's out there with his family, and it's good enough to join us here for some time too. And I'm sure we're helping him, take his mind off of more important things. But sometimes you need a break. Quays, you know how I feel about you, my brother. Much love, bro. Keep your head up. But no, I'm a big fan of Marte, bro. I'm a big fan of Marte. Shout out to my guy Joel, whom I met through Quays, who's also a big fan of Marte. They actually know Marte, who's a de lo mio. But listen, just like you said, man, I think Marte, if we keep him healthy, is a good Marte. It's a productive Marte. And it's a Marte that we can use on this team that will help this team win ball games. And yes, I'm not going to take an Alexander Canadio. I don't give a damn about how highly of a prospect he's been touted over a Starlin Marte that I
How
know.
old is
Plus,
Canario, Hector? I mean, I'm
I
sorry.
don't fucking know. He's in 20 something, 24. Let's say he's 24. I don't give a shit. He's not my prospect, anyways. Like, if it was somebody that's coming through our system, maybe you could say, okay, maybe it's time to move on and give this kid a chance. But this is not that kind of party. Now, I will say this. I will say this because another thing that you're hearing right now is, well, the Mets are looking for a right-handed bat.
For what?
I don't know, Eddie. I think it's more the Mets are looking for a utility infielder, right? A backup infielder, because we said there's one spot left because we're pretty sure that Brett Baty is going to be this team second baseman until Jeff McNeil comes back, and who the hell knows how he handles that, right? Maybe with Brett Baty while he pips him, but he's the guy that's going to get that second base job. And I know there's a lot of people that are rooting for it to be Acuna or for Acuna to be that other guy, but we are hearing, and we're going to get into it a little bit. We are hearing that maybe that might not be as sure thing as some fans are thinking. So if the Mets are, that's why I say when people say the Mets are looking for a righty bat, they're not really looking for a righty bat. I think they're
Makes no
looking for
sense.
you. They're looking for utility infielder. But when you talk about Canario, if they're looking for a righty bat, then keep Canario. But that doesn't make sense because then you have 6 outfielders on the roster
Yeah.
with no backup infielder.
No.
So you're not going to do that. So listen, Canario, you had a good spring. Maybe this springboards you into a contract or into a job somewhere, but it probably won't be here. As far as the righty bat, I haven't seen who's been, released or anything like that so far today. And we're gonna see probably more in the next couple of days. But we know they're looking, and we know, like I said, that this means that Luis Angel Acuna is not a short thing. Eddie, I think I let you know last night. We spoke last night. You had to know about it, but we came to find out that Luis Angel Acuna is bored.
That's you take the fucking you got to take the mic on this one.
No, we find out that Luis Angel Acuna is bored. And again, for those that have been taking in my content, I've talked about this, right? And I've talked about how maybe this is the guy that is fueled by adrenaline. And we obviously saw that last year. And we heard him talk about how he saw the ball better in the Major League Stadium and all that good stuff. But what we saw today, or what we saw last night, was an article, damn, and I should probably pull it up, but an article about Anthony DeComo by Anthony DeComo on MLB.com, where he's talking about Luis Angel Acuna and how scouts feel that, he may not be ready, both physically and mentally. And then he had a quote from Francisco Lindor, where Francisco Lindor said he seems bored. Now it depends on how you interpret that. You've had a smirk on your faces last night about this whole thing. I gather that you don't think it's a big deal. I think it is. And again, it depends on how you interpret it. And I wouldn't interpret it different ways. But
All
right
right.
off the back, to me, when the
Yellow
leader
balls.
of the team, when the leader of the team, the guy that this fan base is pushing to be the captain of the team, says something like that, it's eye-opening. Now, what were his intentions? Is he trying to send a message to the kid? Is he trying to say, hey, guys, relax? Sometimes this happens with guys. I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is Luis Angel Acuna still hasn't made the team.
I think he's
I
gonna.
do believe, I do believe that Lindor is high on him. I do believe, like everybody else, everybody's high on him. But you also have to earn it. And
Right.
yes, he came up last year and had a great 2 weeks. But Eddie, we're Met fans. We've seen this before, right? We're going to talk about another guy that we've seen this with. And now we're trying to figure out what the hell is going on and who is this guy. We've seen this with a Mark Vientos come up, and I felt that he gave him a fair shot, but struggle, success, struggle, and it takes some time.
80.
We're watching it with Francisco Alvarez, right? And there's been injuries involved with him, but he's a guy who came up, had success, and has struggled to adjust to being an everyday major leaguer. So yes, Luis Angel Acuna had good 2 weeks, but is that what he is? We hope he is that, but you still got to show it. And then now we're seeing it with Brett Baty, who you threw out there, where he's gotten shots, He struggled. Some people are over it. Some people don't give a damn what's gone on this spring. But maybe he's figured it out. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, we'll see.
But the Acuna thing. What are
All
your
right.
thoughts on the Acuna thing?
Okay. So I would have a problem with it if this guy came up here and was dog shit in September. But this guy came up here in September in the most important time of his franchise's last history, in the last 25 fucking years. This guy came up here with our best player down, a guy that carried us in Lindor, carried us throughout the season, the second half especially. And Acuna came up here and lit it the fuck up. He lit it up, and he filled one of the most, he did one of the hardest things there is to do in professional sports, is fill in greatly for one of the best players in Major League Baseball. So maybe what Lindor's saying is, this guy is so good, and his mentals are so there, is how I took it, that he needs to be in the show to fucking ball out. He needs to be in MLB to ball out. That's the type of dude he is. He's not a bro. Look at the guy's last name, Hector. It's Acuna. This isn't fucking Canario. This guy's baseball royalty. Whether you like the other Acuna or not, the other Acuna is one of the best players in fucking Major League Baseball, hands down. Okay, and we have our Acuna, who I like. I like him a lot better than Baty. I like him better than McNeil. I like him. So maybe he gets bored. Maybe he shines brightest when the lights are the brightest. And that's the players you need in New York. You need guys that fucking shine under the brightest lights. This is what you need. So maybe I'm with Lindor. Yo, he needs to be in the show to fucking ball out. And when the lights were brightest last year, Hector, this guy proved it to me. Okay? I know he got a little cold at one point. I get that. But when we needed him the most, he stepped in and he balled out. So I like Acuna, and I'm with him, and I want to see him be the second baseman of the future.
Right, but the future, you're talking about the future. We're talking about right now.
Okay.
We all feel like he could be the second baseman of the future. He still has to get it done. But in the here and now,
I believe he can get it done, Heck.
They still feel that he has something to work on. Okay, so are you telling me that he should get the job right now over Brett Baty? Because last Sunday when I had you on my show, when this kind of like finished becoming a thing, you were pushing for Brett Baty, if I remember correctly, you know?
Look, Baty earned it. Okay, I got to say that. Baty earned it by having a hot spring. But again, a spring training is spring training. It's 50 at-bats. That's what? 11, 12 games? Like, seriously.
How many at-bats did Acuna have, though, last year? 40-something at-bats? Now, you're going to tell me they were in the regular season down crunch time, which, yes, it was huge.
So, I guess what I'm telling you, Hector, is I believe in Acuna more than I believe in Baty. I think that's what I'm telling you. Because obviously the pedigree, obviously the last name, but the fact that he did it when we needed it most, I think that's why I'm saying that. I think that's why you're getting this take from me, because he did it when we needed him. And if he could fucking do that every day here, bro, it'll be a beautiful thing. Be a beautiful thing, Hector. That's all I'm saying. And listen, I can't take away from Baty because Baty earned the shit. He earned it. But I want to see Acuna and Baty up here. How about that? I want to see them both up here. But to keep somebody's value up from a front office perspective, the smart way to do it would probably be to put Acuna down in AAA so he tears it the fuck up. So if we need to trade for somebody, which we probably will be, you want that to happen. Now, I'd rather Acuna over Baty. So my allegiances are with Acuna. So I'd probably rather Baty down there, but Baty's proved himself to us.
Right, and I think that's the thing. That's where I'm at with it. I believe in Acuna too, and that's for me. I think Acuna is part of the future. I think Acuna could be the future second baseman of this team, right? but I also think he could use some development. And I'm also going by what they're saying too. Now, what I'm seeing is like, damn, what the hell are they talking about, right? But at the same time, what I'm seeing in spring is like, okay, maybe they're right. At the same time, in my opinion, there is nothing else that Brett Baty can do in AAA to raise his value. I think the best way to Brett Baty raise his value is to kick ass in the MLB level right now. And he's being afforded opportunity, whether it be for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We'll see how that works out. Jeff McNeil is supposed to be out 3 to 4 weeks. We're already 2 weeks into that. So that's another reason why I'm like, do I want to keep Acuna on here? And I think I said this to you last week. Do I want to keep Acuna up here as supposedly a part of a platoon? What is a platoon? That means the
righties.
Acuna plays against lefties, Baty plays against righties.
But I don't like that.
I looked at the rosters. I don't know. Maybe there's more indication. When I looked at the rosters of the 4 teams that we faced 4 teams in our first 6 series. I've said this before. Yes. 4 teams in the first 6 series because we faced the Marlins twice. 4 of these 5 teams are American League teams. We'll leave that alone. And all of these rosters, I only saw 4 starters that are left-handed. We don't know if all those guys were going to make the team. Again, I haven't looked at those rosters. Let's say all 4 of those guys make the team. Now you got to wonder if they're going to land on the days that you play the Mets, right? Just because you have a lefty, maybe it's not his day. And you could miss a guy doing a 3-game series. The only lefty that we know for sure is opening day Framber Valdez. We're going to put Luis Acuna for that one day. You understand what I'm saying? Are you going to pinch hit for Brett Baty as soon as a lefty comes up? Especially if that other team only has one lefty and then the rest of the at-bats are going to be righty versus righty. Why not keep Brett Baty in the game? Depending on the situation in the game, right? If it's early in the game, maybe you have a lead as a lefty, you let Brett Baty face a lefty.
I mean, but, Acuna's a right-handed batter. And obviously they say, oh, well, you want the righties playing against lefties. But look, you're a Major League Baseball player, bro. The more people pitch right-handed than pitch left-handed. So let's see what
understand that, Eddie. Again, you're going towards the future. Right now, Brett Baty's a starting second baseman, bro. He's going to get most of the jobs. And if they both make it, it's going to be a platoon. Now, you want to listen, I was there too where I was saying make Acuna the starting shortstop, the starting second baseman. Stick with one guy and give that guy the starts. I want to see Brett Baty start against lefties. I hate the fact that they platoon against these guys right away when they're young.
I don't like the shit either.
I hate it. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just talking about the situation right now. If they both make it, it's probably going to be in a platoon. And where's the playing time for Acuna? When you talk about Brett Baty starting against the righty, right? And you're going to pinch hit for him, who are you going to pinch hit? Starling Marte or Luis Angel Acuna?
Marte.
You understand what I'm saying? So where the hell is Luis Angel Acuna playing?
Right. You're right. Did you ever think Lindor might have said that because he wants some? He believes that Acuna has the higher ceiling over Baty. Maybe Lindor said that because he thinks he's a better player. I mean that's a bold.
Yeah, that's all possible. To say. That's all possible. But I'm looking at it more as we think Lindor is a leader, right?
Of course.
Maybe Lindor is seeing. Listen, let's look at the quotes. Let me just stop talking shit.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's look at the quotes real quick. Let's see if I can bring him up here. Damn, I wish I could make this big. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it though.
Shit is hard to see.
Read it. I don't know.
Read it off of them.
I don't know if everybody really be able to see it, but I'll read it anyways. It says, I think he plays bored in spring training, Lindor said. If the lights come on, then he's good. Last year in the minors, he was bored, probably. He doesn't get amped up for it. It's rare when you see big leaguers or big leaguers dominate the minor leagues. They just get bored. And then they eventually figure it out and say, hey, I guess I've got to do a little bit more to get called up. And then they get called up and it wakes them up. So, yeah, listen, you can interpret it that he's just saying, leave this guy alone. Da-da-da-da-da. But it could be like, I think he's saying, like, yo, wake the hell up.
Or is he saying, yo, give him the job? He's a better player.
Yeah, I don't read it like that. I'm sorry. I don't. He goes on to say after, Mendoza talked about how making mistakes, and that's how you bounce back. How do you respond? Lindor says he acts like he don't care. He acts like he don't care. When you act like you don't care, yeah, you're bored. He's not putting everything he's got into it. It doesn't feel like he's being challenged. So again,
Maybe he feels like he proved himself, Heck.
okay. All right, we're gonna agree to disagree on that. Listen, I'm not saying that he definitively. I feel like it's a more of a kicking in the butt. Like you need to shape it up, kid. You got talent, but you need to show you want to be here. You might be bored. Don't you worry about that though. The lights are not always bright, Eddie. The
I
lights are bright
agree.
for him all the time right now. We talk about the dog days of summer, in
Right.
April, in
Oh,
May, and June, when you're playing those teams, when the stadium is not full, but the games still matter. Is
right.
he going to be able to perform, or is he going to struggle? And is that thing going to lead to a prolonged slump? You understand what I'm saying? So that worries me too. You could say, "Oh, he thinks he's ready," but that worries me. Everything is new to him. He wants to make opening day. He makes opening day. It's my first opening day. Oh, it's my first series in Toronto. It's my first this. It's my first that. Everything's the first. He's hyped. That's gonna wear off. Then what? Can you perform? Or do you revert back to making errors and making mistakes because now you're bored?
Well, no. Look at Heck. The games count now. The spring
Yeah.
training shit is out the window. Now the games count. Okay, come Thursday, these games count. So they can say whatever the fuck they want. But if you don't perform, and this goes for Acuna, it also goes for Baty too. If you don't perform, you're out. We got Megil too. Those are three guys vying for one spot. Okay? If you don't perform, you're out. This team is supposed to win 90 plus games this year. We're in a fucking in a league where we're pitted against the best team in all of fucking baseball in the Dodgers. It's make or break, bro. That's it. Whoever performs the best is going to play because now there's expectations. There is huge expectations on this guy. These guys can't fail. If you fail, you're done. There's three guys, bro. So that again, I am not rooting for anything other than the Mets' success. And whoever that person is that at second base, I hope is the best fucking player. I hope.
I agree.
But we can't have a black hole there. We can't have Megil hitting fucking 220 with no home runs. We can't have Acuna there and not being ready or being fucking bored. The games count. I don't want to hear this shit. We can't have Baty looking like a deer in headlights like he did in past times. But somebody's going to win that job. And that's what this comes down to. The games count.
Well, we know somebody's going to win that job. What I'm telling you is, to me, I think somebody's already won that job.
You think
that's Brett Baty? Yeah. I don't think there's any question.
Well,
I don't think there's any. You really think that's a question? No, you really questioning that?
No.
Forget about what you feel. Forget about what you feel. I think we both would want Acuna to be the long-term second baseman. And if he could have won it out. Listen, I came in here talking about I hope Acuna wins the job over Megil this spring. Right. That hasn't happened, though. Unless you're just going to give it to him based on the 2 weeks last year.
No.
You want to do that. I know Carlos Ramos wants to do that. But the New York Mets, they're not doing that. That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro.
I'm going with the guy that performs. That's it. And whether it's going to be Baty, right? Baty's got it. Baty's got the fucking job. Clearly, he's won. Right. But if he fails to succeed in the regular season, I am changing my options. I want to have my options.
I think they're going to do that too. Yeah, I think they would do that too. I'm not closing the door on Acuna at all.
But if you don't perform, Hector, you're out. That's it.
Well, that applies to everybody. For me,
well, it doesn't apply to Lindor. It doesn't apply to
Well, obviously, because those guys are secure. These are the guys competing for a job. But when those guys aren't playing well, sit them down for a day. That's how I think. Wake your ass up. But that's me.
But they always come around anyway, right? I mean, for the most part.
Yeah. Listen, we'll get in. We'll leave that alone for now because we could talk about a guy that needs to. That I don't want to see and I don't want to hear about coming around. But we're gonna leave it alone. my thing is right now for me, it shapes up like it's going to be Baty. I get it, guys. I apologize. I haven't been keeping up the comments as much as I would like, but
Yeah,
just to
shout out to everybody in the
yeah,
comments.
shout out to everybody. But just to touch on this topic right here, when Dolo Supreme says Baty should have been traded in the off season, yes, but for what? There's no
Right.
value.
There's no value.
There's no value, right? And that's
And
why I
and
think
Hector, that's why I keep saying to you, keep one of them in AAA so they're tearing it up so the value doesn't go down. Because again, I try to think like an executive thinks. You want somebody in AAA tearing it up versus somebody in MLB, whoever that is, whether it's Acuna or Baty, shitting
and
the bed. Because if they
yes,
shit the bed here, their value tanks.
what
And
what
then that
happened?
team doesn't want him.
What happened when Brett Baty got sent down last year?
He never
Af-
recovered.
Are you shitting? Are you shitting me? I got tired of seeing highlights every day of him hitting a fucking home run.
Okay. But
He
has
struggled
he
maybe for the
ever
first week, but after that, he became Mr. AAA. He has nothing to do down there, bro. If that was the case, we wouldn't be talking that he had no value to be traded in the offseason. He needs to show major league success, in my opinion,
I
to build
agree.
that value up. Now,
That's
it would suck. And shout out to Carlos and me talking to Carlos privately. He pointed out, well, what happens if he struggles? Or maybe it was on the last show where Carlos said, or one of my personal last show, what happens if he struggles at Major League? That would destroy his value too. I agree with that. I'm willing to take a chance because I don't think I can build it any higher at AAA. Maybe he can. Maybe if he continues to do something like that, and people, some team will say, you know what, he showed it in spring training. He's now killing it in AAA. Let's go make the move for him, and you can get fair value for him. But I'm not so sure, and I think it's a new conversation because I think
well,
he made this team. I think
Hector.
he made this team as a second baseman. I think the guy that's in the balance is Acuna. I'm
No.
sorry.
And look at maybe there's a world where this platoon actually works out. Maybe you,
Yeah,
you know what
because
I'm saying? Like, there's different ways of going about it. If you could keep like some guys, play within rhythm, right? They're rhythm guys. You got to get their
yeah,
reps. So maybe you find enough at bats for both, and they're both productive. I mean, again, that's best for the team,
of
right?
course. But I'm not saying that
So,
that can't happen. I'm not saying
so
that that can't happen. I'm just saying that there's a possibility that Acuna won't make this team, and
no,
some of
there
you want to
is.
get bent out of shape about that.
No. Listen,
You know
dude.
what I mean? Like, and
You,
I
you,
don't think
you're
that's a
right.
bad thing. I don't think that closes the door on him on the season. I don't think
No.
that he can be a big part of this year. I don't think that he can be a big part of the future. I actually think the opposite. I think he will be a big part of this year. I think he will be a big part of the future. I just said I am content. I am okay with a guy like Dedniel Nunez starting in AAA. Does that mean I don't like Dedniel Nunez? I love Dedniel Nunez. I think he could be a big part of this year, but I need him healthy, right? I
Cool.
need Luis Acuna to be the best version of Luis Acuna. His name doesn't play, Eddie. I don't
No.
give a damn about his bloodline. Yeah, it got him here, but you can't just put the name Acuna out there and it plays by itself.
But let's not forget what he did in September either.
Well, I'm not forgetting that, but
We
let's not
can't forget
overvalue
that.
it either. You can't overvalue that just like you can't overvalue spring
True.
training or
True.
devalue spring
Facts.
training.
Facts.
I think it's we have to be open minded about all of it.
Hey, listen, man. Again, it just comes down to success.
And I'm just talking about like what I'm reading from them. I'm sorry. I'm just talking about also what I'm reading from them, and what I'm reading is that Luis Acuna is the last guy battling for that last spot.
Yeah. And look. It might be fucking dope to have the both of them playing a platoon. Like there's a world where you could get both guys 400 bats a year, and it works. You know what I'm saying? You could move Acuna around. You could move. I don't know what's going to happen when Megil comes back, but let's say that Acuna makes a team, right? And Baty makes a team. Baty starts or whatever. But you find a way to keep them engaged. Keep them engaged in the game. You give them at bats. You get them playing time. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sure. Listen,
sometimes it doesn't.
In '86,
I mean, there was a center field, right? Didn't Dykstra and Mookie Wilson?
You had Dykstra and Mookie Wilson sharing center field. You had Wally Bagman and Tim Tuffle sharing second base.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So you had these things going on. Like, Yes, a good team is able to get. Listen, in order to win a World Series, we say it all the time. It takes your entire 40-man roster and even beyond that, because you're gonna bring in guys throughout the year that weren't on your 40-man roster that'll help you out to win.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? So we get all crazy about what the roster is on opening day, and I mean, I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here because David Stern said himself, the opening day roster is not the roster on your last day of the season. The opening day roster might not even be the same roster the fifth day of the season.
Heck, it's like the same thing with the opening day starter. Like it's Clay Holmes, but let's see what happens 4 or 5 months from now. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, who started opening day last year?
Was it Megil?
I don't fucking know. Who started before that? Like it doesn't matter. And I said the same thing last year at this time when we were having the same conversation about the opening day starter. Once the opening day passes, I forget who the hell the opening day starter was.
I do too. It's not something I give two shits about, to be honest.
know, so it's like whatever with that. Guys, again, I appreciate all the comments, man. The comments are getting crazy.
Yeah, man.
Crazy up in here. And shout out to the over 500 plus of you beautiful people up in here.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Explosive diarrhea bringing up Jet Williams. Can Jet Williams show that he's healthy and have a good
Jesus, we're bringing up another fucking prospect.
Yeah, before we even talk about Jet Williams, though, like, come on. My guy Dolo says, shout out to Dolo. First time I see Dolo. Shout out to everybody that's joining us because of Eddie, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, shout out to all the guys people up in here
that just finding us. Maybe some of you guys are just finding both of us for the first time. Again, this is Mets Talk Unfiltered. I'm Hector. That's Eddie. And we're going to have fun all year. Matter of fact, some house cleaning real quick. The plan is right now, ladies and gentlemen, for us to do this on any off day. So you look ahead at the schedule. The Mets are off on Wednesday this week. I expect Mets Talk Unfiltered. The Mets are off on Thursday. Whatever the hell the Mets are off, you're going to hear from us. And we'll see how it develops throughout the year. I'm going to continue to do my own thing. Eddie will continue to do his own thing. Knicks, Mets, whatever the hell it is. I do more Mets than anything. But on an off day, look for us both to be together, having some fun with you guys. But thanks for joining us.
Chopping it up, talking Mets. And for me, it's so refreshing, Hector, because I do
Mets Unfiltered talk, baby, as real as it gets. I'm sorry, I just thought about that.
What was it? As real as it gets?
No, as real as it. Remember what we were talking about earlier. Shout out to my guy Rudy who came up with that.
Rudy.
Right? We'll talk about Rudy in the future. Rudy's gonna be a big part of this too.
We got it kind of close to bow on this fucking Acuna thing. I think we're on two different wavelengths with this, man.
I don't think we are. I just think listen, I think he's gonna be a big part of the future. I
don't think you're that sold on him.
Oh no!
I don't think you're that sold on Acuna.
I am sold on him. I just don't think he's a sure thing. Like you guys, like I have to give him second base right now. I wanted to see him come here and earn it, Eddie. I don't think he has. I'm sorry.
So I'm with you in not giving it, but I don't mind platoons. I don't. I think a really good team. Like look at the fucking Dodgers. They've been platooning guys at second base for the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these good teams have platoons. It's nothing new.
No, I don't have a problem with a platoon either. My thing is that how much do you expect him to play? That's all I'm saying is. How much do you expect? It's not like he's going to be in the platoon for the whole year. We're talking about 2 weeks, Eddie, maybe 3. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Why do we want him to be on this team and sit on the bench for 2 weeks? That doesn't do him any good. You understand what I'm saying?
I know. I'm thinking about it. That's a good. I didn't see. I didn't
good point for Ariel too. He started out struggling, but he's been better. In the article that I referenced from Tacoma, Mendoza himself talked about the mistakes that he's made, getting picked off a couple of times, getting picked off twice in one game.
He's one of those guys, man.
All right, but you could dismiss it, but they're looking at this, Eddie, unless Mendy's just giving me lip service. And why would he bring it up? But that's one of the things I love about Mendy. Mendy holds these guys accountable, even in the media, but not in a bad way. Not in a throwing you under the bus, but like, yeah, he needs to be better at this. You know, so that's all I'm saying. I don't have a problem with a platoon. I just wonder where's the playing time coming for the righty bat of that platoon when there's not that many lefties.
Well, now, again, that's why
I wasn't responsible. I didn't look at the bullpens and stuff, but you know.
look, you could switch it up, man. It's a good Hector. We're talking about it like it's a bad problem. It's a good problem to have at the end of the day. It really
Yes,
is.
sir.
You
Yes,
got
sir.
and listen, I was never like big on Baty, and I think it goes back to 2022. Appreciate it. Like I think it goes back to 2022 when all three of those guys came up and all three of them sucked. So I think it's like that. But listen, man, let's see what happens. It's a new year. Let's see what happens. If they go with the platoon, I'm cool with it. If they don't, so be it. I'm fine with it either way. Would I like to see Acuna here? The answer is yes. But
Yeah.
I would be with management's decision if they decided to put him down in AAA. I totally understand it, but I would like to see them both up here. I would.
Got you. Now, as we try to move on, this is a good trend, good what a segue transition or whatever the case is. With my guy Carlos here, Carlos and I, you would think Carlos and I are enemies because we go at it, but it's all in fun and we respect
Carlos
each
is
other.
always arguing, man.
Yeah, no, it's not arguing. It's bringing up good points though. He
He's
says,
good.
"Okay, Hector, so you think Acuna hasn't earned it, but what I don't understand is what you are seeing that Baty has done in 3 straight years at MLB level that earns him the spot." Okay, Carlos, I'm gonna try this one last time for you, brother. I have seen exactly what you have seen, bro. I have said, get Brett Baty the hell out of here. But I'm going to ask you the same question that I ask everyone. What are you trading him for? Are you telling me let's just waive Brett Baty and tell him go find a job somewhere else? They're not going to do that, right? You're going to tell me trade Brett Baty's ass. What do you want to trade him for, though, Carlos? What do you want to trade him for, right? You don't want to trade him for a bag of balls. So now here's where we differ.
He wants a starting pitcher like everybody else, Hector.
Right.
That's the answer. We all want to start. We want an ace caliber pitcher, correct?
Correct. But are you going to get that for Brett Baty? We want Sandy Alcantara.
Not right now.
Are you going to get Sandy Alcantara for Brett Baty?
No. Maybe part of a bigger package.
Part of a package. If Brett Baty continues to build his value up, though, right? You said this on our last show. If you call the Marlins right now, the first guy they're going to ask for is Luis Acuna. Of
course.
You say let's trade Luis Acuna, these guys will fucking crash our stream right now. They'll get us taken off because nobody wants to trade Luis Acuna. You understand what I'm saying?
But you got to give to get, bro.
You got to give to get. I don't want to trade Luis Acuna. So this is where I'm saying look, Carlos and I differ. I feel the best way to build Brett Baty's value up so that maybe he could be a headliner or a co-headliner for a trade for maybe a Sandy Alcantara, if that's possible, is by him having major league success. So with what he's done right now this spring, maybe he can build off of that and finally have some success at a major league level. And then in a month from now, we're all laughing because we pulled a fast one on the team and we traded Brett Baty for a Sandy Alcantara. And now we have Luis Acuna playing second base or platooning with Megil or whatever the hell is going on. But we still have Acuna as part of the now and future.
Right.
And Brett Baty's gone. That's what I'm saying, Carlos. It's not that I'm saying Brett Baty, give Brett Baty the job, and he has to stay there. I'm saying right now, this is a great opportunity for him to build his value. Now, if they give it to Acuna, let's go Acuna.
I don't think he's going to get it, though, Heck.
But that's the thing. I don't think he's going to get it, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. I can see why they want to go there. Hopefully that helps to answer your question, Carlos. I don't know why that's so hard. Like, I just feel like this is the best way for him to build value. And yes, with what he's done recently in this spring, and being a top 25 at one point prospect and all of that, give the kid his one last chance. This is it. This is it though, and it's a limited chance. But Megil's gonna come up and get a shot to take his job unless whoever one of these guys gets the job just totally kills it. But as we try to move on here, and it's all connected, the question is, who the hell is Brett Baty? Has he figured it out? Nobody fucking knows, right? No. So I read an article in The Athletic late last night, early this morning, whatever the hell it was. Let me bring that up real quick. Well, I'm not going to bring the whole article up.
Yeah, you just paraphrase it.
Say again?
No, it's perfect.
I'm going to bring certain things that stood out to me. But basically, the article was asking the same thing and the same concerns. And scouts saying they don't, who is Brett Baty? What do we believe? Do we believe what we've seen for the past 3 years, like Carlos said? or do we believe in spring training? Well, Brett Baty himself, as you guys can see, has said he doesn't pay attention to spring training numbers. Left unsaid, he holds first-hand knowledge of how they can work like funhouse mirrors. At spring training in 2023, Baty hit 325. Last spring training, he hit 3 home runs. He entered last season as a Mets starting third baseman. By June, he lost the job. He had a 628 OPS. Whatever adjustment Baty made, just they didn't stick, right? So that is the idea, and he recognizes this. But guys put in work, right? Guys sometimes have to take a look in the mirror and say, I got to do things differently. So it goes on to say, this year's adjustments intrigue rival scouts who mostly remain skeptical until they see Baty consistently hit in the major leagues. What am I talking about, ladies and gentlemen? For a long time, not just because I read this article, I feel Brett Baty needs to prove himself and raise his value in the major leagues, not in AAA. Well, here's scouts saying this. They want to see what he does in the major leagues.
Facts.
And again, this is courtesy of Will Salmon, as you see there, from The Athletic. We're not here to take credit from anybody or anything like that.
Who is this Aaron Capista guy? Do you know him? The private hitting.
Get into that. We're going to get into that. His latest revamp started last year soon after the Mets season ended in late October. Baty called Aaron Capista a private hitting coach and former minor league infielder who lives in Austin, Texas, near Baty's hometown of Round Rock.
Okay.
Right?
Texas boys. Good old boys.
Yes. Baty says, I felt like we were talking for 3 hours, Baty said. I usually don't have a conversation with anybody for that long. They got to work the next day. Baty recounted days working with Capista when he didn't even get a hit in batting practice simulations. So there were days that he wouldn't even get a hit in batting practice simulations, right? Capista said he tried to make up situations as challenges, telling Baty he was in an 0-for-17 skid one day, that people were booing, that articles were being written. It's hard to simulate such adversities. But Baty knows the feelings. He welcomed the idea of trying to fight to them. This stood out to me, Eddie. You know why? Because we heard Brett Baty himself say last year that he had a hard time dealing with the bright lights. See, Acuna could see the ball better when he came up. Brady had a hard time dealing with the bright lights. So far, what do you think about this?
I think that we need to see it on the fucking field. I think that's the bottom line. Okay, at this point, it's past all the bullshit. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a band. I don't give a fuck what he did in the off season or this, that, and the other. What hitting coach? I don't care. I do not care. Now it's time for results, Hector. It's all about results. If you could give me results on the field, good. Keep playing. If you don't, goodbye. I am looking to win a World Series. I am not in the middle ground. There is no fucking middle ground. It's either you produce or you don't. Okay, maybe you be mediocre. Mediocre is fucking mediocre. It's mediocrity. Again, we are chasing the Los Angeles fucking Dodgers, the best team in baseball by a fucking mile. So I'm not going to have kids' gloves with any of these fucking kids. I don't want to hear it. And this goes for Acuna as well. Produce or you're out. And that goes for Megil too. We're trying to win a World Series. There's expectations on us. We cannot have guys hitting under 200 going into May. We need consistency, 1 through 9. We want to win. The winning has to start early. That magical run that we went on last year, that doesn't happen. Rarely does it happen. We got lucky.
I agree.
This year, if we want to get back to the postseason, it starts from game 1. And that doesn't start in game 60. Now, it's always good to judge a team by like Memorial Day. I think that's a good benchmark, right? And by Memorial Day last year, we were 11 games under 500 or close to it. But we went on
good to judge you by Memorial Day, but some people had typed out by Memorial Day last year.
Of course, I was one of them. I said they suck.
Not me.
I said the team was done. I said I was done. I was done with the excuses.
Mm-hmm.
I had it with them. I was ready to trade them all, bro.
I
Pete,
get it.
Lindor, all of them. I was ready to clean house and start over. But
I get it. But I
prove
think
me
that's a
wrong.
different conversation, right? Even
Right.
the whole give me till May, that's a whole totally we're talking about here. Why is Brett Baty getting this opportunity? And I'm just looking for reasons as to why. And why is Brett Baty having the success that he's having now? Where some people want to say, oh, it's the same thing he's done in every spring training. But we've
Oh, it's got
seen
proof.
changes, right? I seen, right? I don't like the way his swing looks. I don't like it right now with the changes, right? Because it looks
Really?
awkward the way he's following through and keeping both hands on the bat, right? But they touch on that here. They touch on that here. So I know you don't want to really talk about it, but we're gonna finish this because I put in work into this, damn it, and we're gonna finish reading this.
I actually appreciate this because I didn't see this.
No, I know I'm having fun, Eddie. Relax. Don't take that shit to fucking word
No,
for
no,
word,
no.
bro.
All good, bro. You think I take anything personal? Come on.
When we go back to this, right, and again talked about this guy trying to get him to work through struggles, right? Beatty says that aspect really resonated with me. Just the challenging part. So we know this has been a challenge for him. So you're
Right.
right. We're gonna have to see him now do it, and we're gonna have to see him now translate this into the regular season, right? So here we go. From a mechanic standpoint, Beatty worked on being more athletic in the box. He's moving his front foot a bit more to create pre-pitch movement. Pre-pitch
Momentum.
momentum. Maintaining his posture and landing on his stride so that he wasn't diving over the plate. Perhaps most notably, Beatty is finishing with two hands on the bat.
Okay.
Right? So these are changes that he's made, and now we're seeing it. What did he talk about? Beatty hits too many ground balls. Beatty can't get the ball in the air. Well, we see him do more of that because not only does he have 3 home runs, he has like 4 or 5 doubles.
Right.
Again, it's spring training. It doesn't matter. But I think spring training is different for everybody. We know this guy went and put in work, so you want to see that work translate. You want to see him have some success, right? And then they could carry that success into the regular season. The last thing you want to do is make changes and struggle with those changes all spring, and I have to go into the regular season and
Right.
still try to figure it out. You know.
Facts.
Anyways, Capista also stressed improving Beatty's swing decisions. In spring training, Beatty swung more aggressively at strikes in early counts. His stakes count said stand out too. That mentality has even made my takes a lot easier, Beatty said.
Okay.
So we're seeing things and now we're learning the back work that he put behind it. Now, here's what you want to hear. Here's what everybody wants to hear. And this is why I love Carlos Mendoza. He's got to go out and do it. Mets manager Carlos Mendoza said he's got to trust the work that he not only did in the offseason, but what he's been doing here in camp. Right? So he agrees. This has been great, but now go out there and do it in the regular season. Here's your opportunity. Now go out there and do it in the regular season. And to wrap this up, similar things can be said about Beatty's defense, as one scout put it, and this is something that I've said lately too. Beatty's playing more free. This is something we saw with Mark Vientos. Once he had some success at the plate, his defense got better because he was confident. That plays, guys. I know people try to dismiss that stuff, but that plays. Meaning he appears less afraid of making errors and instead makes aggressive plays at third base
Right.
and second base. Go ahead.
Because it all carries over.
Absolutely.
It all carries over. Whether people admit that or they don't.
Right.
It carries over.
And then the scout said his movement suggests confidence. He's direct to the ball with better footwork, and he's made improvements.
Okay.
And that's the end of that. We don't want to see that. That was me. That shouldn't be there. Sorry for that.
That's funny.
Let's bring this back. As we figure how to get over here. There we go. So no, I thought that article was interesting. I thought it highlights the work that he's put in and why we're seeing a little bit. Now, again, you could say that he's always done this in spring training. What does it matter? I'm sure when I go back to the comments, I'll see some more of that. Probably from my buddy Carlos and who the hell else knows who's on that same bandwagon. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great point. This is a great point. Because last spring, Vientos did win the job. Now I don't know what these guys are having their own conversations in the chats too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
But it's probably in reference to maybe Beatty didn't have the great spring that we're thinking about. I don't know. But Vientos did win the job last year, and we know what happened there.
but that was
But who
almost the
cares?
best thing that ever happened to him.
Yes,
You know
yes,
what I'm
because he
saying?
was able to
Losing
go
that shit,
down
I
and
think, was the best thing that happened to him because it made him like lock in and made him take accountability, work a
right.
little bit harder, see what you're doing wrong. That's what baseball's a game of failure. Hector. You fail more, like you fail so much more times than you succeed. But it's about keeping that mental approach, or no matter what, the inner confidence has to stay. You always have to have that confidence because once the confidence goes, you're fucked. You're done. You're done.
For sure,
You're cooked.
for
And
sure.
so
But I think that yep, I
the
think that
bottom
pretty
line
much.
is, the bottom
Sorry, go
line
ahead.
is, do we believe in Brett Baty? My answer is prove
Prove
it.
it.
That's it. Very simple.
That's it.
I think
I'm
that's
with you.
most of our answers.
I'm with you. But I think maybe I just feel a little bit stronger than some that he deserves this shot right
Well,
here.
there's a lot of Baty hate, and I get it. I understand. There was Vientos hate, right?
Or is it exhaustion already? Like we've given you so much and you feel like we're exhausted with you, Brett Baty. We had
Right.
enough, right?
And understand, as Met fans, we're a group of people who haven't won shit since God knows when. I hate the 86 fans because I wasn't able to fucking experience and enjoy it. So, like, to me, we never won a World Series. So I want to just see a team succeed, man. And I'm just sick of the excuses and this, that, and the other, bro. That's it. I just want to see them go out and do it. I had enough.
I agree. That's a good point. Jesus. This is a good point by Stan. Stan from Westport. Stan. Shout out to you, Stan, who says Beatty's like Holmes in a way. He showed up ready to go. Hey, you got to give that credit too. Maybe he felt or he knew there was an opportunity. Maybe he felt or he knew like, yo, I need to put up a shut up. And he came in, he put in the work. He went in there, reached out to somebody to help him out.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's ready to go. So we'll see. But now, yes, he needs to prove it. He needs to prove it. Now, again, I think we've covered pretty much the roster and all that good stuff. We have a couple of fun topics. We're gonna try to run through them as quick as possible.
Yeah,
We're,
yeah.
we're going on an hour and 42 minutes here.
I
Almost
did
10
not think it was
p.m.
going to take this long to get through this shit. My God.
Yeah, but we talked about how possibly it could, because we get into it and we're both long-winded and we both very opinionated. When I was 10 and 86, all right, you young guys, I was 10 and 86. I do kind of remember a little bit. That is my team. Damn it.
Oh, you're lucky.
No, so the next thing we're gonna get into, and this is more of your thing, so I'm gonna let you take the lead on this. But Eddie came to me with something last night, ladies and gentlemen. He came to me with a couple of things. We're gonna start with one. We didn't talk about the other
No,
thing
I
before.
think we should probably only do the one.
No, we're gonna leave the one we spoke about pre-show. We're gonna table that. Yes, we're gonna table that. But you came to me with two other things last night, and I think this is part of it. No, yeah, this is all part of it. This is all part of it. I'm sorry, it's only one thing really, but I only highlighted a part of it because I laughed at this. But hey, in the world of numbers, Eddie, this is all I'm gonna say. This is all I'm gonna say. Go ahead, Eddie, explain this to us.
All right, man. So can we pull up that the quote?
Yes, I can. Give me a second. As you get into
I
it,
think
yes,
that's
I
the
will.
best way to pull it up.
I will try to. You're talking about what you sent me, right? The
Yes,
you
the
sent me
quote.
today, earlier today.
Yes. Hold on.
All right,
I mean, I'm actually going to put this out.
I got you. I can figure out how to use my computer here. You're gonna put this out, but elaborate. Don't wait.
Okay.
Elaborate.
All right.
Nah, I'm kidding.
I came across an article I was reading last night. So obviously, if you know me, I was like any Met fan. We were all absolutely stoked, so excited that we signed Juan Soto. I mean, I got his fucking jersey up there. I mean, I don't buy jerseys. I bought his jersey. Okay. That's how much I believe in Juan Soto. But there was an article I came across, and they were ranking the best players in baseball, right? And they had tiers. So the first tier was the best of the best. And it was exactly who you would think would be in it. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, who the fuck was it? I mean, I want to make sure I'm not right. Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani. Facts, right? And then after that, there's the next tier. And the next tier were guys like Lindor, Bryce Harper, et cetera, et cetera. But what came out in the best of the best is that one major league scout said that he believes Juan Soto is extremely overrated and that he would have never in a million years gave Juan Soto the money that he got. Okay? Now, can we pull it up a little bit? Because I do not have the best eyesight. Maybe you can read it off, Hector.
Yeah, I'm going to have to read it because this one I wasn't able to put it in a nice place where I can actually make it bigger off of your screenshot. So I apologize to everybody. If you can see it, if you cannot see it, it says here, I don't think Soto belongs up here, the scout said. He's not good defensively and he's not a good base runner. He walks and hits home runs every now and then. I'm not saying he's not good, but for me, he is one of the most overrated players. The way we value walks today is what puts him in that class. Oh, in this class.
In this class. So again, they took a poll of all Major League Baseball and they ranked the best of the best, right? I'm trying to actually pull up the article right here for you guys. So the scout,
yeah, I'm doing that. I'm trying to do that myself, but it's just I don't want to say too much.
The scout basically came out and he basically said that Juan Soto, the player comparison to Juan Soto was Brian Giles. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Brian Giles, he's a guy that played during the steroid era. He was a really good fucking player. Like, if he played today, he'd be considered the best player. This is a guy with a 400 on base percentage. He led the league in walks in 2005 when Barry Bonds got hurt. The year that Barry Bonds got hurt, in between, Brian Giles led the league in walks. And Brian Giles, if you look at his numbers from 99 to 05, and this is where the scout pulled it from, his numbers are fucking insane. But the scout said that it's crazy that the Mets paid him this much, that any team should ever pay him this money. All the guy does good is walk very well, and he's not the best of the best home run hitters. So this is what he said. And he basically came out and he said that his comparison is Brian Giles. And when you look at the fucking numbers, Hector, they're almost identical. And I sent you another screenshot if you saw.
I got you. I just wanted to finish. I wanted to finish with this one real quick. And you kind of like pretty much gave it what is in it, but it continued on to say the scout compared Soto's 7 seasons to the peak of Brian Giles, another outfielder who offered little defensively, but hit for power and walked prodigiously.
And he was a lefty.
Giles posted a 308, 414, 554 /9 for Pittsburgh and San Diego from 1999 to 2005. Soto's numbers across 7 seasons: 285, 421, 580, 532. It's an imperfect comparison given the difference in errors and ages. Soto is still only 26, and Giles didn't even start his prime until age 28. But it's instructive in how our viewpoint has changed on the skill set that makes Soto an undisputed member of the game's elite. Yes. While Giles was never widely viewed that way. Eddie, we're supposed to be partners here, bro.
Yes.
You're not supposed to bring shit up that's going to get me in trouble. At the same time, go ahead and bring shit up that's going to get me in trouble. You know why? Because I'm not going to say Juan Soto's a Brian Giles, but I don't necessarily disagree.
No.
With a lot of what's being said. I think Soto's overpaid. I've said this, but I think everybody's overpaid.
Of course.
I don't like the way the game has shifted and has devalued batting average by raising the value on other things. I think you could have done both. I think batting average should still be important, while saying yes, taking a walk is important,
So,
right?
like, Hector, just to touch on Brian Giles, he's like for the chat that's listening, for the audience. Like, again, he played during the steroid era, right? So he was hitting high 30s. I don't know if he ever hit 40 home runs, but his fucking on base percentage was insane. He didn't strike. He walked much more than he struck out, and that's something you never see. You don't see that nowadays. So I don't know if you guys could see, but they took Brian Giles' 7 best seasons, which were from it's from 99 to 05, and they took Juan Soto's, just his first 7 seasons. Now remember, Juan Soto's just going into his prime. Brian Giles entered his prime at the age of 28. So again, this bodes well for Soto, right? Because Soto did this in his first 7 years, whereas Brian Giles, it took him till age 28 to come until his prime, right? But if you look at Brian Giles' 99 year, 2000, 2001, 2002, Brian Giles' numbers were fucking insane, man. And if you can see it there, Brian Giles is basically, he has a higher bat. He's beating Soto in almost every statistical category. Again, different era, different play. But you know what this tells me, Hector? This tells me that Brian Giles is an extremely underrated player. Extremely underrated. Extremely underrated. But I wanted to bring it up for the audience because I believe that people should know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should know about history. And I never thought, I always thought of Brian Giles as a good player. He was a very good player. But
No, yeah.
2-time All-Star. But looking at him now and looking at him, those numbers, this guy might be a fucking Hall of Famer. If you look at the modern day numbers.
Yeah, and that's what I have a problem with.
This batting average is really good because I know you love batting average.
No, yeah, that stands out to me. I wish Soto could hit 300. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wish Soto could hit 300. And I'm one of those guys where I agree with the gentleman in the article who said, or the scout that said that a lot of the way that people look at players nowadays is because it's heightened value on walks. And to me, it's like, of course, I'll take a walk over a strikeout any day. But as much as they've raised the value on walks, you're also gonna tell me that strikeouts don't matter. And they do matter to me. But we know the new mentality in baseball of the three. This is always a tongue twister for me. 3 true outcomes is all that people care about, right? What are the 3 true outcomes? Home run, walk, and a strikeout.
Fuck that strikeout shit,
and
man.
Nothing else matters.
It does matter.
But to me, I'm still of the belief of put the ball in play and good things can happen.
I agree.
Right? I still think
they don't teach that anymore, Hector. That's not taught. That's why you don't see.
And that's why you see like a guy like a Luis Arias is dismissed by fans, new age fans. Like, oh, Luis Arias, this guy has no value because he doesn't hit home runs. Fuck that. I'll take him on my team any day. A guy's gonna hit over 300 and be on base more often than not. Oh, he doesn't take enough walks. He's hitting over 300. So you don't like his on base percentage because it's built based on him hitting instead of taking walks? Oh, well, his slugging percentage is no good. Well, obviously, he's not built like a slugger. I don't need everyone to be a slugger. So I'd rather a Luis Arias is going to hit over 300 and maybe put him in a lineup where guys are going to drive him in than have a Luis Arias that struggles to hit 20 home runs while batting 220. But people are hype that up because he maybe takes a few more walks and is hitting 20 home runs.
I really like
that.
I'm a big fan of Luis Arias. Heck,
yeah, me too.
He's a great table setter. I mean, he may not do the 3 outcomes, but he can hit the fucking ball. And in a big situation, and in the World Series, in the playoffs, guys don't walk you; they strike you the fuck out. So you're not going to get walked unless you're facing some fucking bum in the postseason. You might get walked on a pitch here or there, but I'd rather a guy that can hit me a single than a guy that's going to strike out going down looking.
Yep.
Or just swing the bat and miss.
Right.
That's me.
No,
But
no,
uh,
I'm with you. I just think
it's a
I don't know.
crazy story though.
No, it is because, like you said, I remember Brian Giles as being a very good player. Um, but again, listen. I said it myself on a couple of my shows. I said went back and forth with a few people. I think on X and some comments where I said, or maybe it was one of my buddies. Maybe it was Joel Delomio, where I said, "Yo, Juan Soto's not a home run hitter." And they're like, what do you mean he's not a home? He's not a
Huh.
home run hitter. He's a good hitter that can hit a home run.
Well, what's his career highs in the season? Was it
It was last year, the
43?
43 year last year. I think
Okay,
that was his
42.
career high.
Okay.
Listen, I don't see Juan
I
Soto
mean,
hitting 40 home runs in City Field. I just don't. But I don't need him hitting 40 home runs in City Field.
I would like him to hit 40 fucking home runs.
Well, that would be nice. But
Do
we know
you expect it though?
this is a different ballpark than Yankee Stadium. And he's not that guy, in my opinion.
Well, but his numbers, I think his numbers in games played here, I think he has his best numbers at City Field.
Right. But it's
Yeah,
totally
and I
different.
think he hit 3 of the longest home runs ever at City Field, believe it or not. He's up there.
This is one thing I always say to that, Eddie. It's totally different to come in as a visiting player to a stadium and have success than when you're there every day. Right?
Facts.
You come in there as a visiting player, you're not really thinking about the quirks of the stadium, whatever. You're just hitting, and sometimes you feel good. And listen, maybe he comes in here and he feels great still hitting at City Field as a home player. But when you're hitting there every day and you rope some shit and you think you got all of it and it doesn't go out, how does that affect you? Are you trying to hit it harder the next day or the next time?
He's too good a player to be like that, though.
We
Heck.
hope so. Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's gonna struggle as much as some people think. Or
People
not that
think
some
he's
people.
going
I
to
should, no, no,
struggle.
no, 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 no. I shouldn't say that. That's not what I'm saying. It's because I just saw something that kind of took me somewhere else. I don't think, but we always wonder how is the guy gonna adjust. I think the good thing with him is we already saw him play in New York. We
Yeah.
know he has success here, so I don't think he's
Playoffs.
gonna. I don't think he's gonna have an adjustment period. We've seen him since he came up. World Series, step up, everything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't worry about him. I don't worry about him at all. When we doing a show together, was that my show that I did on my own? When I bring this up, since we're on the Soto conversation. I don't know if you know Evan
No,
Roberts,
no, that
WF.
wasn't us. We didn't do that.
Right. So Evan Roberts, WFN in New York, had a topic this past week. I think it was like Wednesday, Thursday this week, maybe even Tuesday, whenever the hell it was. It was before I did my show, so it probably was before Tuesday.
Okay.
Where he said, not if, but us being New York, when would Juan Soto get booed?
Oh, he'll get booed if he starts out bad. He's gonna get
Right.
booed. They all got
Uh,
booed.
right.
Mike Piazza
Uh,
has got booed. Beltran got booed. I
right.
mean, Lindor's gotten booed. All the greats have gotten booed.
But what did you just say about Juan Soto? Just a second ago. Success, right? Playoff success. He's proven it. And then we add to that the fact that New York is not going to be foreign to him. He already has a season here
Right.
under his belt,
Right.
so he doesn't have to adjust to that. So I
But
don't think,
expectations, though, Hector.
right? No,
Expectations have
yes,
changed.
we'll see how he handles that. We'll see how he handles that. I think he's going to handle them just fine, bro. So
I
I
think
think
so.
because he's going to handle them fine, he's not going to have those struggles that a Carlos Beltran or Mike Piazza had. And he's not going to give the fans an opportunity to boo him. So sorry to you and Evan Roberts, but Juan Soto is not going to get booed. That is
Wow.
my bold statement. I don't think he's going to get booed.
So you
because I
think he's
gonna,
too good to get
bro,
booed?
he's gonna come in and take off running. I'm betting Juan Soto to hit a home run opening day in fucking Houston, opening day at City Field. I might even bet it first at bat in both places. Because he's a showman, bro.
He is.
He thrives. He loves these situations, bro. Look at what he's done all spring. Look at what he did. I don't know if you saw, there was a fan heckling him out in right field about a Yankee fan talking shit and telling
Yeah.
him, you're overrated, you're overpaid. Maybe it was a scout
Ha.
that was out there in right field talking smack.
Brian
And
Johnson.
Juan Soto looked at him, turned around and looked at him. And the next at bat hit a home run right where the guy was. The guy falls backward trying to catch the home run.
Ah.
This is what this guy does, bro. He thrives on that pressure. So I don't think my guy's getting booed because I think he's taking off running. And that he's gonna start out so good that of course he's gonna have a little slump, right? Even the greats have slumps. They just have
Right.
minimized slumps, right? It's not gonna be 3, 4 weeks, it might be 2 games. But he's gonna start out so good that I don't think by that time that he has a
You don't
slump,
think it'll even get to the point where he'll get booed?
yeah, I don't think he'll get booed, bro. Eddie, it's been 2 hours. I know we wanted to talk about a couple of other things.
I think we're good.
I think we're good. I think one thing because we don't want to leave it untouched, right? And this is a season preview, and
Yeah.
since we won't get together before the season starts, I don't think we will. I will be here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back here tomorrow if I still have a voice, doing my own blunt thoughts thing. Um, gonna have my guy Ant and Mikey, who host their own show. I hit that podcast, and we're gonna be talking some Mets and Knicks. I know some of you Met fans don't want to hear Knicks. Some of you Knicks fans don't want to hear me talking Mets, but we're gonna have some fun. All right, we look at things that from a fun. We're not gonna get into the weeds about it, but look out for that tomorrow, 8 p.m. I will have another kind of season preview as part of my blunt thoughts with Anthony McCarron as my host on Wednesday night. So look out for that, please.
Oh,
Hopefully, you guys can join me for all that. But again, before we go out of here, and again, Mets Talk Unfiltered. We're gonna be in your face. We're gonna give our opinions, whether you like it or not. But make sure you tune in and watch them because you're gonna miss it, and you don't want to be that guy that misses it
I
or
put
that
some
guy that
respect
misses it.
on Brian Giles' name.
Put some respect on. Get the fuck out of here with
Put
that
some
bullshit, bro.
respect on Brian Giles' name.
But like I said, any off day Mets, you're gonna be sure you're gonna see us. But real quick, Eddie, because I know you wanted to talk about this. I'm gonna put the over under at 90.5.
Yeah.
Different places have 91 and a half, 90 and a half. Maybe I should have done 91.5, 91 and a half because that was the most common
Yeah,
one.
it's that seems to be the
That was it was like 3 out of 4 for
I
that you
think
sent me.
90 and a half is it.
Right. Looking at everything that we've looked at, looking at the NL East, all of that. What are your I don't want to say predictions, but what do you think about this? And this is something that I don't really like to get into, but you
Listen,
know,
they better fucking win. That's it, Hector. It better be over.
it better be over.
After everything we just did in off season, it better be over. It better be. There's no in between. There's no excuses. No. It's the time now that the excuses are done. The bridge year is over. I don't want to hear any of that fucking bullshit. 1 through 9's got to perform in the fucking batter's box. 1 through 5's got to get you through the fucking every 5 days. And the bullpen better fucking pick it the fuck up. Because this, to me, this year is NLCS or bust. That's it. You either get to the NLCS or it's a fucking bust.
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? That's minimum to me.
Okay.
They better get to the damn World Series. If not, win it. I don't listen, Eddie. I don't want to hear about the Dodgers. I don't want to hear about none of that shit.
But bro,
I know
the Dodgers are better. That's
better
why I'm
than
saying it's NLCS
the
or
Dodgers are
bust.
better on paper. The game is not played
The
on
Dodgers are fucking better.
paper. Yeah, on
By a
paper.
fucking mile.
The game is played on dirt and grass. We'll see how it plays out.
The
But to
Dodgers
me,
are better.
I'm not settling for NLCS.
But what are they?
Hey,
Fucking, I think they're 102. I think.
but the Dodgers are, but maybe they get knocked out before you even face them.
Let's hope.
Okay,
Well,
and if the Dodgers lose before the NLCS and you get to the NLCS, are you going to be content with them losing in the NLCS if it's not to the Dodgers? You're going to be like, how the fuck no? How the hell you lose to the whoever the hell it is?
Hector, the only thing I'll be content is if we lose to the Dodgers. That's it. I can live with that.
Right.
But
It'll take
anything
me,
less than that, no.
It'll take me some time to get content with that. I don't want to lose to anybody. I need this team to get to the World Series. I think this team has enough now to play good enough to add on during the year, and we'll see how things develop. We'll see who's able to come up. We'll see if guys that we didn't even touch on a Brandon Sproat being able to come up and being impactful this year. You know what I'm saying? And whoever else that may happen, could it be? I'm not going to say Joe Nathan. I think he's a little bit. What we could say he's a little bit far off, but a Blake Tidwell or whatever. But maybe even these guys could come in and be part of a bullpen down the line. We see that happen sometimes too, where guys first come up and help out in the bullpen one year, before they come in as starters. But I think we're gonna have a good team this year.
Hector, I just to kind of put a bow on this. I think the Mets are going to need to do two things to get to where we got to go. I think we got to get another starting pitcher, ace quality caliber, and I think they're probably going to need another bullpen piece. I'm talking a real live arm. And the reason I say that is just because every year it seems to be the recipe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we have a starting rotation that's built to withstand injuries, but we kind of, if you look at the three teams in NL East that are the best, we have the worst rotation out of the three. And bullpen, it's just something that you need every year, no matter what. It's just the way it goes. You always are looking for that bullpen piece. So we'll see. But it's NLCS or bust for me. That's it.
Yeah,
how about you?
Listen, I'm not gonna fight you on that. Although I want to see this team possibly take the next step, but we know things are not linear like that either, right? It could be very well that we get knocked out in the first round this year. Now that would be a huge disappointment. You want to see growth, but sometimes growth, it takes time. It takes time. But I think listen, this is another time where we've gotten there ahead of time. We did last season, and other times where we've done that, they haven't been able to capitalize on that. Hopefully, they're able to capitalize on that this year. But I think they'll be over 90 and a half. I think they better be over 90 and a half. I think they should be over 90 and a half. But yeah, like Eddie said, we're going to put a ball on this, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us. Right now, we got over 600 of you beautiful people up in here.
Close to 700. I think we're over 700 now, bro.
Probably, I guess. I don't know. But Tia tells me whatever. Sometimes this thing is all out of whack. It doesn't matter. Even if it's one of you guys in here, we're going to be here. But like I said earlier, you don't want to miss it. So make sure you're here. Look on the schedule. Mets off day. We'll be here as the season goes on. As we grow, we'll probably, I think we'll end up doing more. Trying to get Eddie to agree to do more. But, we both have schedules. We both have lives. We both got a lot of things going on. And Eddie's very big in the Knicks community. Very big in the Knicks things. If you're a big Knicks fan like we all are, check him out. You know what I'm saying? You find him at Eddie Presti, right? That's exactly where you find him. You see that there. You know where to find my stupid ass. You're obviously watching us, but make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we're gonna have fun. One of the things that I want to talk about with Eddie, we're not gonna do today, but this is what we're gonna get started on this year, guys. We are gonna embark on making Mendy the best manager in Mets history. And there are many reasons why I believe that. And you guys believe it too, even though you're going to throw at me. Wait a minute. How somebody threw at me today. Shout out to my guy, Rudy. Casey Stengel and Terry Collins and all of these guys. Guys, we've gone back and forth here. We've criticized some things. We've given them props for some things. But one thing that I think most of us believe is we are in the best time that we've been as an organization. We have great ownership, we have a great front office, and I believe we have a very good manager. You combine those three things, we're now bringing in a Juan Soto and everything else that we think that this organization is going to do, we should win. Not one, not two, I'm not fucking LeBron, but we should win a few World Series in the next few years. And if Mendy's the manager, you're going to give me what? Terry Collins who never won one?
No. Bro, just
Johnson who won
one. Let's start at one, and then we'll fucking talk.
But we'll have fun with this in the future. But I just wanted to let people know this is the kind of conversations, these are the kind of things that you're gonna get on Mets Talk Unfiltered, baby. But Eddie, your closing thoughts. I'm done. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Else? Put some respect on Brian Giles' name.
Put some respect on Brian Giles' name. Put some respect on Mets Talk Unfiltered, baby. Everybody have a good night. Let's go, Mets. As always, baby. Peace.